Shabbat Shalom, and welcome to the Keepers of the House of Light. My name is Yehuda ben Israel, and to my left,
Uriah ben Israel.
Obadiah ben Israel.
Shabbat Shalom, brothers.
Hey,
Elder.
Shabbat Shalom, my elder.
How you doing there, Deacon?
Shabbat Shalom, my deacon.
Praise y'all, brothers, for this great Sabbath that we should all, if we have breath in us this Sabbath, we should be glorifying Yahweh and enjoying this holy day that He has sanctified forever.
Of course.
Is that right? He sanctified this. It's an everlasting commandment. So we're happy to be here to do this, to observe the Sabbath with all our viewers watching throughout the internet, etc. But who are we? Again, my name is Yehuda ben Israel. This is Elder Uriah ben Israel. This is Deacon Obadiah ben Israel. And we comprise this organization entitled the Keepers of the House of Light. And who are we? The Keepers of the House of Light are dedicated to spreading the righteousness, love, mercy, and forgiveness of our Father, Yahweh Elohim of hosts, by and through His Son, Yeshua the Messiah, or Yeshua HaMashiach, the Lamb of Yahweh, the King of Israel, the High Priest, and our Redeemer and Savior, whose name be blessed forever. We are here to teach and proclaim the gospel of Yeshua, who magnifies the law of Yahweh and makes it righteous. He makes it righteous. And from the very beginning, this class starts. From the first words that are uttered by any of us, this begins the class. This is everything about this class from the beginning to the end is of the Spirit. So we don't have a certain part where we say, when we start reading the scriptures, we begin as the class starts, whatever the Spirit may give us.
That's right.
So before we get into the class itself, it is entitled Leviticus, the Works of the Law, Part 4, I believe.
Yeah.
Leviticus, the Works of the Law, Part 4. And now I'm going to just move along a little bit more briskly. I'm going to turn it over to Elder Uriah ben Israel so he can read the pre-class scriptures, or our pre-class reading for us today.
Thank you, my elder. At this point, I would like to start the pre-class reading in the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 6, verses 4 and 5.
Praise God.
Praise.
Yeah, praise God, man. Deuteronomy, chapter 6, verses 4 and 5. And this is the Shema, and which derived from the Hebrew word Shema, which means listen or hear. And here we're talking about the commandment of the Most High.
All right.
Verse 4. Hear, O Israel, Yahweh our Elohim is one other name. And thou shalt love Yahweh thy Elohim with all thine heart, and with all thy soul, and with all thy mind. That is a Shema. Now, let's go to the New Testament, that's what we call it.
All right.
We'll see the Son of God magnify the Shema also. And if He magnifies the Shema of the Most High Yahweh, then we are the true followers of Him. We need to magnify it also.
Okay.
That's right.
Matthew chapter 22, verse 34. Give a little time. I heard pages turning. So, Matthew chapter 22, verse 34. But when the Pharisees had heard that He had put the Sadducees to silence, they were gathered together. Then one of them, which was a lawyer, asked Him a question, tempted Him, and saying, Master, which is the great commandment in the law. Yeshua said unto him, Thou shalt love Yahweh thy Elohim with all thine heart, and with all thy soul, and with all thy mind.
Praise Yah.
This is the first and great commandment. And the second is like unto it. Thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. On these two commandments hang all the law and the prophets.
Praise Yah.
Praise Him. Now let's take our attention to Matthew chapter 18, verse 20. And this is what, gave us the authority to be here today. Through the Mashiach himself, the Messiah, Yeshua. Matthew chapter 18, verse 20. For where 2 or 3 are gathered together in my name, there am I in the midst of them.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Praise Yah for that.
All the time, man. Let's go to the book of Isaiah, chapter 58. Isaiah, chapter 58. Oh, man. I went a little bit too far.
Okay, that's fine. We're in Isaiah 58. Praise Yah.
Verse 13 and 14. Verse 13. If thou turn away thy foot from the Shabbat, from doing thy pleasure on my holy day, and call the Shabbat a delight, the holy of Yahweh, honorable, and shall honor him, not doing thine own ways, nor finding thine own pleasure, nor speaking thine own words. Then thou shalt delight thyself in Yahweh.
Okay.
And I will cause thee to ride up on the high places of the earth, and feed thee with the heritage of Jacob thy father, for the mouth of Yahweh has spoken it.
Praise Yah, Elder.
Praise Yah.
Praise Yah, Elder Uriah. Praise Yah, Deacon Obadiah.
Praise
we cannot go over the importance of Yahweh's Sabbath. What you just read, Elder, he says what? If you call the Sabbath a delight, many of our forefathers did, not all, but some.
That's right.
It was enough to where Yahweh was not pleased. He saw that they were not keeping his holy day in the right spirit and with joy and looking forward to the Sabbath. This is a day that you should be looking forward to. You should have what did you read? You should have it should be honorable. The Sabbath should be a delight to you. Honorable. And you should not do your own ways, nor nor find our own pleasure, nor speak your own words. Wow. A lot of people that's in the word, in this truth. When we say truth, Messianic Jews, those who believe, who know that we are the bloodline descendants of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, that we are the children of Israel. Those of us who know that and believe in the Mashiach, Yeshua, right?
That's right.
We don't take this serious. A lot of us don't take that part serious. We delight in doing our own pleasure. Sometimes it's out of ignorance of how you've been taught.
Yeah. Oh.
Right?
It's out there. It's
been taught. You might be pull up you don't have to have your drink on the Shabbat. Right? You don't have to fire you one up, as they say, on the Shabbat. Because that's doing what? When you do that, you're doing your pleasure.
Yeah.
How's that honoring Yahweh? When you're taking pleasure, that's your pleasure. He just tell you one day, sundown Friday evening to sundown that Saturday evening. But give it to me. Yeah. Do it holy. Have joy in your heart. Be about me. So I can never I don't never want to read this and let anyone think that we're just reading something just to have what you call it, a process or a script or something we're going through. No, it's for you. It's for your edification.
That's
if
right.
you're doing it from the right spirit, then what Yahweh say right here in His word. Then, if you're doing it from your heart, you're keeping my Sabbath from your heart, not just going because of tradition, or you're supposed to be there, but you got that. It's joy in you.
Let
It's
it
a delight.
written on your heart, my Ella.
That's what he's saying.
It become a part of you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You start getting ready for the Sabbath. You start preparing it that night before.
It would be like a pleasure to you.
Exactly.
Yeah, to do things for your Creator. He's the one that given life.
Exactly.
No one else.
And it's for you.
Yeah.
The Sabbath is for you to rest, to get your mind off of the things of the world.
The world is stuff.
Right. One day. And it's
I think our people partake in all kinds of things on the Sabbath day as well. And so that could be taken. We watch videos. We watch TV.
Pleasure. That's your pleasure.
So
right.
There's a lot of things. So let us not be holier than thou when we approach our people.
That's right.
We still keep things in context amongst how Yahweh delivered it unto us, but let us not try to be holier than thou. So we don't want people to misunderstand that because see, that's what the Pharisees and the scribes did.
Mm-hmm.
They made the law a burden to the people.
Right. Mm-hmm. Right.
See, so let's the Mashiach showed the spirit of the law.
Mm-hmm.
So we also they tried to find fault in a lot of the things that the Mashiach did on the Sabbath day.
That's right.
So we put Yeshua at the forefront.
That's right.
To see how he magnified the law and made it honorable. So I think we also should express that to the people. So we.
Well, yeah. I think that's the implicit. This is the body of Christ.
That's right.
And if you don't understand that this is the body of Christ, that's what it's all about. But you know what you're doing. See, only you know what you do in your pleasure. I don't know what you're doing in your house, right? So you know what we have to look at ourselves. It's on you. This is, like you said, it's between you, Yahweh, and the Mashiach. So you know what you're doing, right? And like I said, you're not, I glimpsed at the magazine. I glimpsed at the television. Oh, no. Well, come on now. But I think that's what the thing's about. We can, but when the Mashiach talked about the Sabbath, he talked about what? Doing good on the Sabbath, right? It's okay to do. But he says he's the master of the Sabbath. So then you caught back, you're still in the same situation. You got to go back and see what the Mashiach says.
That's the point.
Yeah. So he tells you this. Yeah. You go back to what the Mashiach says. Because this pleasure, you know what's your pleasure. You follow me?
That's
I can't
right.
tell you. You know what you enjoy.
That's right.
And we might do a little bit of it on the Sabbath, but guess what? You can still repent. You can still say, oh, man, I got to cut this out. Man, I was watching a little TV this morning. Or if it's, but I'm not telling you to cut your television off. Turn it off neither. But every man got to do what? Work out his own salvation.
That's right.
With fear and trembling. It's up to you. But like you said, it's not like you said, brother, it's not about being holy and down. It's like, this is what you have to learn. You have to have an understanding. You have to, because see, like you said, another thing, you can mess around and people can get you so caught up. Well, when we say sanctify, you do something you know the books say don't do. Right? You say, you don't do that. And I think we're going to touch on some of this stuff with Nadab and Abihu. See, they lost their lives because they thought they could do it, but no, you can't do it your way. You follow me? Particularly when you got the prophet of Yahweh right there telling you, don't do it. I didn't tell you to do that. And Moses didn't get a chance to say nothing. Yahweh took control of that thing.
They were on another level in the sense that they were being consecrated and they were in a 7-day separation.
That's right.
Exactly.
And so they had that anointing upon them. And so what they did, and during the time period that they did, they really put their lives in jeopardy because they were sanctified and set apart to Yahweh to carry out those works.
Right.
And then they decided to do this in the midst of that.
Yeah. And you have to do those things, like you said earlier before the class, we have to do those things how Yahweh tell us to do it.
That's right.
You can't, just like you said, because our people, well, let me put it this way about going back to what you're saying. Our people in America right now, there is no law. There's no order. So a lot of times, even those in the truth, we come out of that world, most of us. Some of us were blessed to be born in the truth, and so we can get some understanding. But most of us came out of disorder. We came out of rebellion. We came out of uncleanness. So we got those old things still on us, and we're going to have them with the flesh, right? But like you said, brother, we're going to tell you, I'm only going to tell you what says the book. You know what I mean? So we sometimes like you said, in the Mashiach, sometimes you may have to go to the, you may have to do some work on Shabbat, right? Not to quit your job, right? You got to have wisdom. So we're not, yeah, like you said, we want to temper that. Your pleasure, that's not your pleasure, that's your job. And so if your job hasn't allowed you to be off on the Sabbath, well, you have to work until Yahweh make a way for you. Maybe Yahweh bless you with a job where you don't have to work on the Sabbath.
You know what, man? I just said Yahweh have to make a way from you, and I'm looking back on the commandment, and the fourth commandment said, remember the Shabbat to keep it holy.
Correct.
So it must be a point when our people was in captivity. They have to work maybe 7 days. Okay, so they wasn't keeping the Shabbat day holy.
Correct.
You see what I'm saying? So sometimes Yahweh allow you. I said allow you without taking you out.
Right. Well,
but then he take you out of that system to show you a better system.
Right. If you don't know what's clean, if you can't know what clean is, it's even dirty.
Of course.
Right?
You can't appreciate it.
You can't appreciate it. When we look at the Pharisees and the Sadducees, we got to be, by the time the Mashiach Advent, they came out. They came out of that Maccabean people. The Greeks were in the land. They brought the people back to the law. That's what their job. They brought them back. Now over time, they started, became institutionalized. They became following. We're elites in the system now, and they started adding to. But the key thing, they added to it and made it a burden. The things that which Yahweh did not require on the Sabbath. Every little thing they were doing so much.
So they started adding their own traditions.
That's right.
That's my point. That's my point.
They incorporated their own personal traditions.
Exactly.
That's right.
Exactly.
To do with what was written.
Subordinating the law.
Right.
You subordinate. They subordinate the law. But we go back that's why we look at why did the Greeks come into the land? Why did Yahweh allow these people come in? The Romans and everything else. Our people were not keeping the law.
That's right.
They were not walking in the ways of Yahweh in their own heart.
That's
But
right.
the prophets always talk about it. These people draw near to me with their mouth, but their heart is far from me. And see, and this is what Isaiah 58 is saying. You have to delight in it. See, that's coming from your heart. See, you can go through the functions, right, of the Sabbath. That's what I was talking about. You go through the functions, but if your heart's not in it,
it doesn't make any sense. Stay home.
if your heart's in it,
And the only person who knows a man's heart is Yahweh.
it's the only person knows.
See, so we can't say it. So this is what I say. If a man had a drink on the Shabbat, did Yahweh tell him that's a sin? If the man is praising Yahweh and he happy, is that a sin? Or can I call that a sin? I'm saying me, bro. I'm saying, can I call that a sin? You see what I'm saying? That's why I say at least we need to seem as if we more. You see what I'm saying? Yeah, because I don't know what's in that man's heart. He may be praising Yah like man. I don't know. I can't say.
You know what? You may be going through a hard time.
That's why I say that.
You see, so at the moment you have to evaluate everything before you conclude that, hey man, you're saying no.
When before Samuel was born, on the feast day, she was mourning and she's praying.
Yeah.
The priest looked and it seemed that he thought she was drunk.
Yeah.
But she wasn't drunk.
Yeah.
So she had to explain to him, say, hey, no, I'm in deep sorrow. And so then he heard, but he could have assumed that,
you might get drunk or something. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, like you said, we got to keep everything within understanding.
Yeah.
Because if, because I can come back and still say, well, is drinking a sin? Nobody said drinking's a sin, right? But even with the priest, the Aaron and his sons said, don't you put no apple, don't you drink nothing when you come to that tabernacle. Don't you come in here. At some point in time, one has to sanctify himself.
That's correct.
You're gonna have to say at some point you're gonna have to say,
draw.
You're going to make a decision to say at this time, just like when you fasting. No, nobody makes you fast. Now, Day of Atonement, you're supposed to fast, right? To afflict the body. But now, if you want to get closer to Yahweh and you got something on your heart, there's fasting involved, right?
That's right.
You forego, so you can get closer. For whatever reason, that fasting, Yahweh honors that when you're dealing with something, right? So nobody makes you. So now, if you're fasting, you say, I'm gonna take a Nazarite vow to do something, and then you do. Well, I'm gonna take me a little hit. Well, you don't defile yourself, so you got to start all over again.
That's
See,
right.
it's at some point what is going to be holy to you? What is going to be sanctified to you? You know, you're right. I can't tell the person they took a hit that day. Well, I don't see a thing in the book that says that they committed a sin, right? But the point is, or you can go. I'm gonna lay with my wife today, right? Now you say, well, you did that with your wife, but you can't come into the holy sanctuary. You can't present yourself. Now that's another example. You can do what you want to do, but there will be judgment no matter what it is. So you have to make sure to know. Well, you know, me and my wife, the law says the bedroom's undefiled, correct? Right. The marital bed's undefiled. Okay, well, you stay at home then. You don't come to the sanctuary, right?
That's right.
You put that first. That's an example of you engaged in your own pleasure that day, and you knew it, but that's fine. That's between you and her.
Yeah.
Right?
And that's in the law.
Right.
It said that you will become unclean if the seed of copulation
come out of you. We're going to cover some of that. Right. So those are things, and that's even when you're married. And you can't run up in here to the sanctuary. For this period right now where we are, this is considered a sanctuary.
That's right.
During this time period.
That's right.
So again, we're like we said, you know, we're saying nobody's going to be holier than thou, but we're going to teach you what says this book. And so, like you said, brother, that's why coveting, that 10th commandment is so deep, because only Yahweh know what you're doing.
Right.
The other ones are going to be out of manifestation. We could catch up. You lied on me. Yeah, you told such and such. You bear false witness on me, right? Because you know I didn't do that. And I got my people saying, no, Obi didn't do that. But you told a lie on Obi. So we can catch that. We can catch you possibly in adultery. We can catch you stealing, right? We can catch those things. We can even catch you worshiping another God. Somebody saw you bowing down before you in the mosque. Why are you in the mosque? Well, I just went. They saw you in the mosque. You worshiping that God, the Muslim God, and Yahweh. So you can be caught doing a certain thing, but that thing that's in your heart, and that number 10, nobody can, you know. So the only thing we can do is urge you. That's what this is up. This is really not a Isaiah 58. It's like what Yahweh's telling you. If you do it, it's not a mandate. It's a mandate to keep the Sabbath. It is the 4th.
Yeah.
It is 4th. But he wants you, it's a way he wants you to keep it.
Yeah.
That's all.
It's not coming from your heart.
Yeah. It must be joyful. Yeah. Now, if you're not drunk, you know, when you say drink or whatever, well, I don't beat my wife on the Shabbat. I beat her sundown.
Right. So that
what kind of madness is that? I jump on around first day. I don't do it I keep the Sabbath holy. I don't lay hands on them.
But all these things is in a man's heart. You know?
Right. That's what we're saying. Right.
Yahweh,
it's all in the heart.
It's all about the deeds of the heart,
exactly.
and the intents.
Exactly.
Of the heart.
Because what Christ was, you know, if we were to go here, you know, he gave you several examples to the Pharisees about the Sabbath. You know what I mean? So I get to say what is good and lawful on the Sabbath. So when we get in that kingdom, that's going to be very clear. This is a shadow of things to come.
That's right.
You know, because they didn't have television back then, right?
Yes.
They didn't have the radio back then, right? So let's say if you're playing gospel music or music praising Yahweh, right? Is that a sin because you're playing something that's helping you in your worship? No, some might say that.
Say, oh, well, that's from the Christian.
Yeah. You know, gospel music, and it's not calling on no other God, but this, you know, it's just something, or Hebraic music, praise music. So that's the radio on, right? And so me personally, I try to not watch television personally. I try to keep it to a minimum. I turn it off. I try to do certain things.
That's right.
And I know that if I keep going, doing more and more, you know, my daughter this morning I said, you're going to eat something soup. I said, no, Dad, I can't make the oatmeal. All right? So she didn't make the oatmeal. So we do certain things. So, but that's what Yahweh tell you to do it on the day of preparation.
That's right.
That Friday.
That's right.
He got that set up for you. You know, if you don't want to do stuff, do it before. But we're just coming into this truth, many of us, and so. But sometimes we become like, I think I hear what you're saying. We can become overzealous.
I've heard, you know, we've had that discussion.
Yeah.
People have said, well, you're not supposed to kindle a fire within your dwellings.
Right.
They turn on their AC.
Yep.
They drive their car. The combustion inside your engine burns fire, and be real now. I'm just saying, you turn on your AC or your heat, right? That's combustion.
I think we have to be rational.
Yeah, that's what
we have to be rational on things, because that's what Yahshua was saying. Let's be rational. He gave that example of the priest, the man, the Good Samaritan. Right. That was a perfect example of showing you how to be rational on the Shabbat, dealing with certain things. The priest came, man got beat up and robbed. The priest walked by. He didn't want to get unclean. He's bloody. He walked away. The Levite came by, did the same thing. And then the Samaritan, the ones that the people kind of detest, came by and took care of that brother.
That's right.
According to the law.
According to the law.
The priest could not defile it.
Yeah, and that's true.
See?
Right.
So
the letter of the law.
See, so they took the letter and then they
run with it.
They took it literally to the point where.
That's what I say when I say.
Exactly. So when they did that, but Yahshua was saying, well, life is more important than the letter of the law, the spirit behind it. So they were supposed to take care of this brother. He could become, if he got unclean, there was a way for him to be clean again. He could have sacrificed properly. He could have did everything to get himself. Both of them could have done according to the law that we read. There were certain ways for them to do it. But
he would have just become unclean
until a certain time.
See,
right?
So you can't become unclean to save a life.
Come on now. So, and that's on the Sabbath. So you got to have reasonableness. Well, brother, I see a man on the Sabbath and he needs some money and they're panhandling. Well, I'm supposed to do no. You can do good. Give that man some money. Give that person some money. If you're in a position to do it, pull over, give him some money, give him some food. Nothing wrong with that. Somebody call you, hey, my car broke down, man. You know today's my Sabbath and I don't really want to. Well, or you may want to do it. You take them to the place or her to the place and they try to pay you, for example. And if you're good with your gas, whatever, no, I'm good. Keep the money. No, I'm doing good. I'm not working, brother. You keep that money. I'm glad to do that for you.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? Or sister. See, those are the things about doing good, but you have to be taught. And Yahshua was there to teach us these things. That's why he said it's the spirit of the thing. But the law still counts.
Correct.
It's the like we talk about all the time, the weightier matters of the law.
It didn't void the law.
No, it don't void the law.
That's not what we got.
No. So but I'm not gonna give you a good sloppy grunt, get your head bad on the Sabbath and talk about you keeping the Shabbat.
Correct.
You're not. How can you do things of Yahweh when you're tipsy? You're not even in the right spirit. You don't put yourself in a different consciousness.
That's right.
You got a spirit.
Yeah, you got a spirit. You got a spirit on you now. So now you want to be. Let's be sober. For once, let's be sober to do the things of Yahweh. And like I said, but there's a catch to that. Isaiah 58. What does it say, guys, on that Isaiah 58:14? And it's a condition.
Yeah.
But if you got that type of heart, it says, then what? What does that say? Then? Read it, brother.
It says, then shalt thou delight thyself in Yahweh.
That's right.
And I will cause thee to ride upon the high places of the earth.
Right.
And feed thee with the heritage of Jacob thy father, for the mouth of Yahweh has spoken.
Everybody want to be blessed. Everybody want to get the good things of Yahweh. Everybody want the good health. Everybody want their family to prosper. Everybody want this, and this. And we got, and I think the elder we talked about that, everybody, they even got Christian doctrines, prosperity doctrines. Yeah. And we talked about that last week. Tithing. I want to get paid. All this. So I'm going to pay. I'm going to do this. I'm going to tithe.
I'm going to buy me a blessing.
I'm going to buy me a blessing.
Buy my way into heaven.
I'm going. Indulgences, right?
Indulgences, right?
Like indulgences.
Yeah.
I just murdered someone.
I just murdered 20.
Here. The high priest goes to him and says, Father, I'm sick.
Yeah, I don't commit genocide.
25,000.
Yeah, I don't kill millions of Native Americans. Right? I don't kill millions of indigenous people in the Americas. I go back and I got all my booty I've collected and go back to the church and I get myself cleansed up.
Yeah, I'm good.
You
forgive.
You forgive.
Son, you forgive.
Yeah, it's always that then. So, again, don't let nobody beat you down about certain things. Everybody's going to slip and dip here now and then. And sometimes you may have to do what you have to do on the Sabbath. If you got that car broke down on the interstate, you're going to get your car, you're going to tap that car, you're going to call AAA.
You're not going to leave your ox in the ditch.
That's why I'm kind of, that is. So that's your modern day ox.
That's right.
That's how you make your living today. You have to have transportation to get to and from work. If you break down, well, I had to get it sundown. Now you're going to get that car towed some kind of way. via friend, AAA, private tour company. You're going to get that vehicle taken back. So, but again,
liberties within the law.
Yeah, there are liberties within the law, and Yahshua is that liberty.
Right.
So those are the things that, well, there we go. We got caught on the Sabbath discussion. But those are good points. Praise God. See, that's how the Spirit does. We just never know sometimes because, like you said, we got to hear both sides, and 3 sides or 4 sides of it. Because, like you say, we don't want to make anybody feel like they're robotic. Yeah, and they can't. Sometimes man, I have to take me a little shot. I'm not there, man. You might need it to calm your nerves just for a minute. I don't know what you've been through, but the same, but like I said, there's balance and everything with Yahweh. It's balance, right?
Yeah. When you look at David said, "I don't want to be like."
There, okay, right. There it is.
That's it.
Right.
You just want to be right in the middle.
Right.
He's flesh, and flesh is prone to sin at any time.
And Elder, they say the same thing. I don't want to be so rich where I forget you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You broke it, I got to rob.
I got to rob. Because you're going to make if you're not going to sit there and let your family, if you ain't got nothing, you might make a decision. Look, I saw Mike Tyson video, and it was an interview with Mike Tyson, heavyweight boxing champion of the world. And there's a young man that, I forgot the guy's name, but the man said Mike Tyson had robbed his mother when he was a young man. He had snatched the earrings off her ear. And he remembered that he was a young boy, like 9. And Mike Tyson was there. Very humble brother, but if you don't listen, you look at him, he's a real man. He's a man. So he responded in a way that he said, well, if I did that, he said, well, you might think it's sarcastic, but he wasn't. That's how he is. He just said, well, I can pay him back. I have it now. I can give you back what I take. You just reach out to him. I can give you that back.
Let me ask you a question.
And hold on. And he said, I can give you that back. And he said, and if I did do that, those earrings I did rob, going back to your point, you had more than what I had. And that's why I did it. So you had a point where you're so low, you stole. You didn't have it. But go ahead, brother.
No, I was saying, if Mike Tyson can acknowledge his wrong right there, why that brother that been teaching the people for years, and I'm not talking 1 or 2 years, why can't he return back some of those things to the people?
Well, and so if you're going to deal with him returning back to the people, you need to go back all the way to the Catholic Church, and go back to these Gentiles, the Europeans and stuff. They haven't given anybody back anything. What have they given back?
The Pope ain't gonna give back.
They ain't giving back nothing. Not the land. The land you own. They say the whole world belongs to them.
Yeah.
All the lands are theirs.
Yeah.
Correct? Is that part of that mindset?
Yeah.
They didn't give they haven't given. Nobody gave us anything back in America. No reparation for us.
And they don't plan on it.
So you're right. He should, under the law, if it was an individual thing, but nobody's giving anybody anything back.
But did he really? I saw a video of it. He said he didn't apologize.
No, he didn't apologize.
No, he didn't.
He just saw. He got a revelation.
Yeah.
And he said specifically, I knew this for some time, but I had to figure out a way to say it to y'all, tell y'all about it.
That's it. Without hurting myself.
Yeah. So
I think he's gonna get more, man.
But again,
he's gonna triple it.
But again, we don't. But then again, we don't know what Yahweh's doing with that, brother. Yeah. And we got to come back. We got to going back again. We can't be too high mighty because we don't know how Yahweh's dealing with truckload dollar down the line. And if Yahweh say, look, if Yahweh can forgive us, he can forgive him. I don't care if he took $1 billion. If he can repent and confess it, Yahweh's willing to deal with him.
That's right.
I don't know. What's the point? I don't know if he's a vessel for dishonor or honor or dishonor. I don't know if he's written in the Lamb Book of Life. I don't know if he's going to be in the lake of fire. I don't want to go there. I don't want to see nobody. If I see him in the lake of fire, I might be there. So I don't want to be a part. I don't want to be involved in that. But there's so much defilement and so much wickedness, and I was looking for it, but it says I know to find it, but he says, "Woe unto those pastors that destroy and scatter my sheep.
Mm-hmm.
And then, but it says something about, but it doesn't hold the sheep totally off the hook.
That's right.
You up in there every Shabbat. And that's why I bring this book up, or every Sunday. We open this book, it's up for you. We read from the book. Now, whatever spirit on you, if Yahweh's moving you, he's going to deal with you for that Sabbath. Not me. He might tell you, now, you know, I'm going to forego this. I'm going to wait till sundown for this thing. You right? That's up to Yahweh. That's the spirit. That's on you. But we can say what the black letter, law is. You know, and the law just say, who can give you joy but Yahweh?
No one.
Right? He got to give you that joy.
That's right.
You know, nobody mandates the three of us to be here. But the Spirit has moved us to be here, right? And we want to come in and serve our God.
That's right.
That's why we're here, you know. And we can't take glory in that because Yahweh put us here.
That's right.
We can't glorify Him nothing. None of us. So praise y'all for this, man. Because these are, but see, I'm glad you hear these topics here. And like you said, brother brought it up. Say, hey, we don't want to beat the people up. We don't want to, you follow me? That's important. That they got to hear the different vantage points, because I don't want to ever come across like, you know, we know everything and we're beating up people here. Or we're trying to, like as you said, be more holy than thou. That's not the goal. But the goal is for us to all walk in righteousness.
That's right.
You know. So let's do this. Praise y'all for that discussion. To start this class, to get the spirit moving. The class is entitled the Leviticus, the Works of the Law, Part 4. Last week, Deacon Obi, I think we left off, we had finished up in Leviticus, what are we, 11?
Yeah, we covered the dietary law.
Yeah, we covered the dietary laws in great detail, Deacon Elder Uriah.
That's right.
We covered those things because these laws are given to the children of Israel. So we have to make that plain. It wasn't given to all the nations, right?
Correct.
It was given to the people he set apart unto him.
That's right.
I want to make sure. I'm your elder.
Yeah, that's right.
That's right. I want to make sure. So if you are a holy people unto Yahweh, right? You are married to Him. Yahweh's made a covenant to you with us. So then He wants, there's certain things that in order for us to come before Him,
Correct.
we have to do, and even our bodies, what we take in our bodies, have to be a certain way, right?
Correct.
So he's
That's
given the children of Israel a certain dietary a diet of things they can eat,
Right. Of a holy people.
yeah, of a holy people, and things they can't eat of a holy people, right?
That's right.
So we went over those things, but you know, and that's in chapter 11. I'm not going to revisit it in detail, but you know, Go ahead.
It's important we cover that.
Yes, sir.
Because
okay, I want to make
there's
sure.
a lot of misunderstanding within
Right.
you know, that, you know, well, now we can eat everything.
Yeah.
Because there's no more law.
Right. And so now thank you. So now that's where we want to pick up at. And there's no more law because the Christianity the Christian religion has taken and misled people, as you said earlier.
That's right.
About certain things. And so we can eat anything now. We just pray over it. But let's see what the church was doing after the death, resurrection, and ascension of Christ. Let's go to Acts chapter 10 so we can kind of debunk some of this stuff, right? And like you said, brother, it's not, you just can't eat everything because now the God got rid of that law that was to the Hebrews. No, He didn't get rid of no law. We talked about the law that was set aside with the ordinances of the animal sacrifice.
Correct.
Because Christ is the sacrifice, correct?
That's right.
We covered that in detail.
Yeah. And so we're going to go look in Acts 10, and I think we should cover it. Let me see how many pages we got. 4. So let's do it this way. Uriah, take it down to Acts 10 verses 1 through 22, and Deacon Obadiah, take it from 23 and finish it up. Okay.
Thank you, my elder. We're in the book of Acts, Acts chapter 10. I'm going to be picking up
and give them a
verse
little
1.
preface of that. We're dealing with Cornelius here. right? This is the
This is the vision, received by Peter.
Yeah.
Also, so, we can read it.
Yeah, but I want to say something too about it. There's a lot of debate, even among Hebrews. Oh, he wasn't a Gentile. He was a Israelite. Well, I don't think it says that, right? He's not a Jew, right? And he's not of Israel.
Correct.
But again, what it said, go ahead and read it and let your ears make the decision.
Okay. Verse 1. There was a certain man in Caesarea called Cornelius, a centurion of the band called the Italian band, a devout man, and one that feared Elohim with all his house, which gave much alms to the people and prayed to Elohim always. I heard page turning. So we're in the book of Acts chapter 10, verse 3. He saw in a vision, evidently about the 9th hour of the day, an angel of Elohim coming in to him and saying unto him, Cornelius. And when he looked at him, he was afraid and said, What is it, Adonai? What is it, Master? And he said unto him, Thy prayers and thine alms are come up for a memorial before Elohim. He's been doing what? Good works.
Right? He's praying, and he's doing these good alms, right? Yeah. Okay. He's worshiping with the children of Israel, the Jews, right? Yeah. And we know he's a Roman soldier, centurion, right?
That's right.
Of the Italian band.
Acts chapter 10, verse 5. And now send men to Joppa and call for one Simon, whose surname is Peter. He lodgeth with one Simon, a tanner, whose house is by the seaside. He shall tell thee what thou oughtest to do.
I'm going to pose a question now. Why didn't the angel just tell him what to do? Why did the angel send him to Peter?
Because he has to go through his people. You can't sidestep Yahweh's people. He said, you go to that one tanner who's a Jew, basically.
Right.
He's a Jew. You go to that Jew, that guy over there, and he'll give you the instructions as to how we're going to deal with this thing here. Okay. He could have directly told him, like you said. But no, there's an order to things. It's like I told you, everything is done decently in order.
Follow up. So could he went to any Jew?
No.
Why this particular Jew?
Well, this man was a priest, and he had to take care of his business. He was a set aside vessel. He was set aside for a purpose as well. That's why he's going to go to him.
Right.
And he's going to deal with you.
Right.
But you know what? Add a little unto that. The key was given to Peter too.
There we go. That's part of it. That's it.
Yeah.
He's
set aside just for that.
Set aside. Yeshua put Peter in charge. Right? So you had to find a Jew. So he didn't go to another Gentile. He had to go to Cephas. Right? The stone.
That's right.
The Jew. That was his job.
That's right.
Even the angels can't do things. They can't intervene in this. They have to follow instructions. Peter, what did he say? He said, Peter, I'll give you the keys, right? Whatever you lock.
Whatever you bound in heaven.
What you bound in heaven? Bound on earth. Whatever you loose. See that? So that authority was in Peter. It's vested in Peter. So nobody could sidestep Peter, no matter what. Paul had to even go see Peter at some point. Because he said, I didn't go see Peter and the other saints in Jerusalem. Everything I'm doing is in vain.
That's right.
So I had to go to Peter and those guys. And when they met with him, they saw him with the works, they gave him the right hand of the fellowship, right? So you going into the Gentiles, we're going to do this, et cetera, et cetera.
That's right.
So Peter's the guy. So sometimes we don't like authority.
I know. That's our problem, man.
Why Obadiah? Why Obadiah doing it? But why Obadiah?
Why have to go to Obadiah? Well, come on, man.
Yahweh put him in charge.
Of
Yahweh
course.
gave it to him. And it ain't going to work, right? Unless you go through him.
That's right.
So you might can build on something, but guess what? It's going to fall because Yahweh told you to go. This is the guy. Now, when Yahweh put that spirit on those Israelites, I forgot the brother's name, to the tabernacle to do all the, what's his name? Bezalel.
And he had an assistant as well.
Like no one else was called. Those were the guys. Because Yahweh said, my spirit, I put the spirit on them.
That's
now
right.
you could go there being jealous. Well, can I help too? I like working with state, but you're not called right now. You can't do this. Moses didn't call you. Moses told us to do this, right? So continue, brother. I mean, but that's a good. I want to make sure they understand that.
Yeah. Acts chapter 10, verse 7. And when the angel which spake unto Cornelius was departed, he called 2 of his household servants, and a devout soldier of them that waited on him continually. And when he had declared all these things unto them, he sent them to Joppa. And on the morrow, as they went on their journey and drew nigh unto the city, Peter went up on the housetop to pray about the 6th hour. And he became very hungry, and would have eaten, but while they made ready, he fell into a trance, and saw heaven open, and a certain vessel descending upon him, as it had been a great sheet knit at the four corners, and let down to the earth, wherein were all manner of 4-footed beasts of the earth, and wild beasts, and creeping things, and fowls of the air. And there came a voice to him, Rise, Peter, kill and eat. But Peter said, Not so, Adonai, not so, Master, for I have never eaten anything that is common or unclean.
And we're in Acts 10, verse, where are we? Verse?
We're in verse
14. Acts 10, verse 14.
If you notice here, there's like a dietary law, right? Right off the bat in verse 14.
Okay.
So that the dietary law was still in effect.
So why is he talking? Yeah, you're right. Why is he talking about the law about, and Peter saying, I've never done this.
I've never eaten anything common or unclean.
I never had a pork chop sandwich.
Correct.
He walked with the Messiah.
Come on now.
See.
There you go.
So if it was done away with after the Mashiach, then why would he say he never did it? Why wouldn't he do it then?
Excellent point, gentlemen.
Yeah. Verse 15. And the voice spake unto him again the second time, What Elohim hath cleansed, that call not thou common.
And like someone said, they stopped right there. They shut the book. I can do it now.
Yeah.
I can get. I want some. I'm gonna go to that crawfish broil. I'm gonna have me some lobster. All I gotta do is pray over it, because the book said, "What God hath cleansed, thou call not thou common." That's a wrap, right?
Yeah.
But let's continue. Maybe we're wrong. I don't know.
Verse 16. This was done 3 times or thrice, and the vessel was received up again into heaven. Now while Peter doubted in himself what this vision which he had seen should mean, behold, the men which were sent from Cornelius had made inquiry for Simon's house, and stood before the gate, and called and asked whether Simon, which was surnamed Peter, were lodged there. While Peter thought on the vision, the Spirit said unto him, Behold, 3 men seek thee.
See, Peter is thinking about that vision. He's meditating. So, you see, that's why I go back sometimes. We have to set ourselves apart for prayer, fasting, and meditation sometimes.
That's right.
So he's thinking about that vision. But you know, at the same time, that knock comes.
Yep.
Right?
Yahweh sent you, remember, look at the timing now. And then when we proceed, see what the Spirit says to him. See what he's told. He's in his mind rationalizing.
He's still right with
I
that.
don't get this. What is he trying to show me?
Yeah, what is he trying to show me with this?
Convinced of that. Ain't you gonna tell him, say, hey man, just do this. Don't even doubt it.
Just go and do this, right?
By the door.
Because you gonna think your way out of it. You try to think, do some other.
Exactly.
Your thoughts ain't my thoughts. That's what Yahweh say now. Your thoughts are not my thoughts. We may rationalize something that's written in Yahweh said. That's not why I wrote that down, man. You don't. That's my son clarified it and explained it and showed you.
Right.
Because see, they tried to bring to the Mashiach and they were like, they tempted him with this. Well, master.
Yeah.
You know how you deal with this.
Right.
You know,
right.
He had to set it straight and show him,
No. This is not what that means. Praise God.
Well, you know what we'll say? We'll say what a coincidence.
That's a coincidence.
No,
there's no coincidence.
I know.
Praise God.
But that's what we will say.
Right.
Yeah. Verse 20.
Read 19 again.
Okay. Verse 19. We're in the book of Acts, chapter 10, verse 19. While Peter thought on the vision, the Spirit said unto him, Behold, 3 men seek thee. Arise, therefore, and get thee down, and go with them, doubting nothing, for I have sent them.
There it is.
21. Then Peter went down to the men which were sent unto him from Cornelius, and said, Behold, I am he whom you seek. What is the cause wherefore you are come? And they said, Cornelius, a centurion, a just man, and one that feareth Elohim, and of good report among all the nation of the Jews, was warned from Elohim by an holy angel to send for thee into his house and to hear words of thee.
See, and you see how these things work with this vision? And you might be in the Word, and you might say, well, Yahweh ain't told me this. Well, Yahweh ain't got to tell you. He told them to tell you. See, nobody can't tell you nothing.
That's right.
If you're so holy and righteous that that the Spirit is always on, the Spirit, Yahweh, this is the Spirit of Christ, that this is the body of Christ. So Yahweh is not limited. Somebody can tell you something. I can tell you something. I can tell you something. Right. Now, what if you adhere to the Spirit? That means you got to say, well, that brother ain't know what he's talking about. He ain't got no spirit on him. He ain't got no spirit on him. He can't tell me that. I know more than you. Da 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 da. Well, sometimes it's better to kind of, I receive that, brother. Let me praise y'all. Yahweh may have to deal with you a little later, but at least when you first receive it, right? But the spirit on this brother Peter was so, that they got baptized with the Spirit. That's right. So when the Spirit told that brother, the Spirit was talking to him straight up. Don't doubt. Go down and see what they're talking about. Right. Doubt nothing. That's right. So Peter was already in the right spirit to receive these things. That's something.
I sent them.
I sent them.
Because it was against the law for our people to associate with other nations.
That's right.
They deemed the nations as being.
That's right.
So he said, don't call nothing that I call clean.
Right.
Uncommon or unclean.
And you're right.
The nations as being unclean. They call them uncircumcised heathens.
Right.
Exactly. And so they were. Paul got on them about being in the company of Gentiles.
Right.
So
and you're right. And that's why you think when they're talking to Peter in verse 22, they're going through this elaborate that shows you why.
Yeah.
They said of Cornelius, the centurion, a just man. Cornelius, the centurion, a just man, and one that fears Elohim, and of good report among all the nation of the Jews. So, if what was warned from Elohim by a holy angel, he's doing what you're saying, what you're talking about, Deacon Obadiah. He's almost kind of convinced and persuade, but the Spirit's already on Peter, but he's kind of persuade. This is a righteous brother. He's
cool, man.
Yeah, he's cool. He's cool. Just hear him out.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, he's cool.
Yeah. But he wouldn't have to do all of that if it was
like
a man of, like you say, because it was strange.
It's strange.
It seemed weird.
Why y'all over here bother me?
He had to show him a vision.
There
on the table.
There it is.
Unclean meat in front of it. For
to
him
go to the next step.
Take it to that level.
Now let's continue now. Now this is where we get, let me see, where do you, let me see.
You got to pick it up on 23.
23. Go ahead, 23. Go ahead, Deacon.
Yes, sir. Verse 23. Then called he them in and lodged them. And on the morrow Peter went away with them. And certain brethren from Joppa accompanied him. And the morrow...
Oh, I'm sorry. He got witnesses with him.
That's right.
He got his boys with him. He got certain what? Certain brothers from Joppa accompany him. He had witnesses with him.
That's right.
Going back to what we were talking about. He's going to go into the Gentiles. He got some people with him.
That's right.
Okay.
Verse 24. And the morrow after they entered into Caesarea, and Cornelius waited for them, and called them together his kinsmen and near friends. And as Peter was coming in, Cornelius met him, and fell down at his feet, and worshipped him. But Peter took him up, saying, Stand up, I myself also am a man. And as he talked with him, he went in, and found that they were come together. Now look at that.
Okay.
Look at it. Now Peter, we understand he was given the keys.
Correct.
It's like he was just talking about being in a state of humility, and look at the spirit that was on that brother.
Praise God.
This man bowed down to him.
That's right.
He picked, I'm a man too, bro. No, even though he had all that authority.
That's right.
I mean, Nobody else didn't stop him.
No.
You know, but he's not. You get up, bro. I'm a man like you. You know, but we know that there's everyone that doesn't have that spirit of humility. I'll just say it like that, especially among our people. I see about brothers having other folks to bow down to them.
Yeah, they're going through too many changes now. They carried on.
And everything is God's will, and we know it's written.
Right.
But there's still look at the spirit that's on this brother.
Correct.
Yeah. Verse 26. Verse 27. And as he talked with him, he went in and found many that were come together. And he said unto them, you know how that it is an unlawful thing for a man that is a Jew to keep company or come unto a person, to one of another nation. But Elohim has showed me that I should not call any man common or unclean.
Boom. Drop the mic.
See?
Drop the mic. That's the interpretation. Now, Yahweh had given him, he was kind of figure out what that dream meant.
Right.
Was it about, okay, so I'm gonna leave it to you guys. So he don't drop it right there. I should not call any man common or unclean. So what's the issue now?
That's what the dream was all about.
See, that
it wasn't about food in general.
So that didn't justify eating no unclean food. That's not what he was telling him. He wasn't telling him to go on and eat some.
Exactly. I've made that food clean now. Was that so? Well, why? That wasn't about that. You can't eat the chitlins in the truth now. If you're walking in the way, the chitlins were not. They're never going to be made clean.
That's right.
They're unclean at the time when Yahweh gave the law. They're unclean now.
That's right.
That's right.
You can't make something that's unclean clean.
That's
the only
right.
way that works is with you.
That's right.
Yahweh can do that.
And that's with us.
That's right.
Man.
I was going to say, we need to understand all these are the law that is written by the Most High.
Right. And remember that we were going back. We came here because we was in Leviticus
Chapter
11 about the dietary law.
That's right.
Showing, so that law is laid out. There's a law.
Still enforced.
So if you don't read that law and understand what's being, then when you read Paul, or when you're reading Peter here, and we're seeing this vision of what's taking place, you'll totally misconstrue it because you'll think it's talking about food.
Right, okay.
But then so that would behoove you to do research. There's a law pertaining to food.
Correct.
Look it up. What does the Bible have to say about that? That's what's we're being taught there's no law. They're just shunning what Yahweh is.
All law, anything, everything. It's all gone.
It's okay to commit adultery. It's okay to steal and lie and murder. Well,
What's that?
it's okay.
Exactly.
I mean, does that even make common sense?
What kind of society exists like that on the earth?
You know what?
I don't want to visit that country.
Yeah, I don't want to go there.
Mankind can have law, but the creator of everything cannot have law.
Well, and that's what you're going to even Satan got law. You do what Satan said. There's honor among thieves. Even the thieves have a code.
That's real.
Correct?
That's right.
So if you're a thief, we can't be together in a criminal conspiracy, the three of us, and we doing certain things, and I find out we got the money, and Uriah don't stole the money. Now we got to catch up with Uriah and take care of that. How would you know? You supposed to be. We came in together.
Right. You're supposed to steal from them.
You steal from them. You don't steal from us. Or some of the money's missing up.
Right.
But see, again, it's ludicrous
Yeah.
to think that Yahweh would have freed man from any and all law, so he can just. Well, I believe in the Lord now, and it's so meaning now you are God unto yourself. That's what you want to be. You want to be self-righteous. That's why they always throw in your face, but God know my heart. I'm trying to change. I say, you know what? And that's why we say this is why the Most High gave us the word, so you can be in the right stead. Even going back like our earlier discussion with the Sabbath. All those things are set up for your good. That's right. So you won't be a reproach to your Creator.
That's right.
Right?
That's right.
Continue, man. But this is it right there, right? That's it. We've answered the question. This is talking about men coming into Cornelius, the first Gentile, is being brought into the truth.
If he was a Jew, why would this statement be made?
There it is, brother. There it is.
Because he said it's an unlawful thing for me to approach unto a man of another nation. Why would that even conversation come up if he was a Jew? It wouldn't be had.
Hey man, what book you reading? What book? What you reading out of, man? What Bible you reading? If you're not
King James.
They told me that this man was a Hebrew who became a Gentile, who was a Hellenic person. but he's a Roman. Everything about this man that we're reading indicates that he is not, just like you said right there, why go through that whole conversation? He can look at that man and tell him he's not a Jew, he's not one of his brothers, because he's black. You can look at that discussion, his whole lifestyle. When we use that word black, you know what I'm saying? But you know your people.
That's right.
You know that man, he's among them. He's a Gentile, he's a Roman. You're right, so that conversation doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I mean, he says one that is a Jew. He says, verse 28, he says, and he said unto him, you know how that it is an unlawful thing for a man that is a Jew. So he's saying, I'm a Jew.
Right.
It's unlawful for me to keep company or come into a man of another nation. If he was a Jew, that would be a
big deal. What's the point?
Conversation.
And he said here, but he has showed me, and that so that verse is power packed.
Yeah,
that's a power packed verse. I'm sorry, power packed verse.
That's right,
man. So it does not. It defunks your mindset that you can eat anything and everything.
Correct.
Praise God.
Praise God.
And we're coming out of Leviticus 11. So continue reading, my brother.
Yes, sir.
Let's read a little bit more of this.
All right. Verse 29. Therefore came I unto you without gainsaying, as soon as I was sent for. I asked therefore, for what intent have you sent for me? And Cornelius said, 4 days ago I was fasting until this hour, and at the 9th hour I prayed in my house, and behold, a man stood before me in bright clothing, and said, Cornelius, thy prayer is heard, and thine alms are had in remembrance in the sight of Elohim. Send therefore to Joppa, and call hither Simon, whose surname is Peter. He is lodged in the house of one Simon, a tanner by the seaside, who when he cometh shall speak unto thee. Immediately therefore I sent to thee, and thou hast well done that thou art come. Now therefore are we all here, present before Elohim, to hear all things that are commanded thee of Elohim.
He got his whole house gathered. See? Not just him by himself. Everything pertaining to him, the people. Yeah. They're right there waiting. They're waiting to hear the word from Yahweh. What does say Yahweh through his Adonai, Yeshua, through his apostle Peter? They're waiting. Continue, brother.
This is a great testimony. Verse 34. Then Peter opened his mouth and said, of a truth, I perceive that Elohim is no respecter of persons. That's very key.
Open the door to the Gentiles. There it is.
That right there. But in every nation, he that feareth him and worketh righteousness is accepted with him.
See, there it is. All the nations. All the nations.
That's why that statement was made. That's why would I say this?
Right.
You know, if he's just dealing with, I mean, see, we get limited that Yahweh is just dealing with us, particular church.
Right.
Or like Yahweh is not that small. He's not limited like that. He's not some in a box. Yahweh could use. He made the dumb ass talk to the prophet.
Right. He did.
You know.
That's right.
I mean, he can make a rock speak. I can raise up stones to be sons unto. I mean, don't limit Yahweh into thinking that he's just dealing with, you know. So he can send a man of another nation to come onto us to drop something.
That's what I'm saying.
I'm not going to receive that.
I don't receive that.
I don't bet. No, well, see, you might miss out on something. You might miss out on something.
Exactly.
That you need to hear.
Exactly.
That Yahweh man sent him to you to give you that message.
Right. That's right. You got to humble yourself and be open. Try the Spirit by the Spirit. What is Yahweh showing you here? What did Peter say? What is that vision? What he was in his spirit trying to figure out.
Right thing.
You know, but by the time he made it, the Spirit revealed it to him.
Yeah.
That's what this is all about. I should not call no man common unclean. Now he makes a great declaration in verse 34 and 35. If you work Yahweh, but in every nation he that feareth him and work his righteousness, keep his commandments, is accepted with him.
That's right.
Okay.
Verse 36. The word which Elohim sent unto the children of Israel, preaching peace by Yeshua HaMashiach, he is Adonai of all. That word, I say, you know, which was published throughout all Judea, and began from Galilee, after the baptism which Yohanan preached.
Now he's preaching Christ now, Yeshua. Here it is.
Verse 38. How Elohim anointed Yeshua of Nazareth with the Holy Spirit, with the Holy Ghost, and with power, who went about doing good, and healing all that were oppressed of the devil. For Elohim was with him.
Praise Yah.
That's Israel.
This is right. That's right.
And we are witnesses of all these things, which he did both in the land of the Jews and in Jerusalem, whom they slew and hanged on a tree. Not a cross.
That's right, not a cross. Right there in the book.
See? Praise God.
It's showing you that.
Praise God. Verse 40. Him Elohim raised up the third day and showed him openly, not to all the people, but unto witnesses chosen before of Elohim, even to us, who did eat and drink with him after he rose from the dead. And he commanded us to preach unto the people, and to testify that is he which was ordained of Elohim to be the judge of the living and the dead.
Praise God.
To him give all the prophets witness that through his name whosoever believeth in him shall receive remission of sins.
You see that? Everything, all this, when we say the prophets, we keep saying this. That's why we started at the beginning of the book. Because it's all going to Christ, his coming. It's all one narrative.
That's right.
That's
about the Holy One of Israel.
That's right.
His son, Yahshua HaMashiach.
That through his name, whosoever believes in him should be saved. One name.
Definitely. Praise God. One name.
No other name.
Yeah.
No other name. Period. Praise God.
Praise God. Verse 44. While Peter yet spake these words, the Holy Ghost fell on all them which heard the word. And they of the circumcision of the Jews, which believed, were astonished, as many as came with Peter, because that on the Gentiles also was poured out the gift of the Holy Ghost.
Two or more witnesses. He has witnesses with him.
That's
to
right.
verify what they're seeing. When they go back in chapter 11, we're not going to go there, but when we go back, they're going to make that, they're going to tell the other brothers what happened. See, that he baptized these people. I mean, I'm getting ahead of myself. I'm getting ahead of you. So go ahead, brother. I'm sorry.
No problem. Verse 46. For they heard them speak with tongues and magnify Elohim. Then Peter answered, Can any man forbid water, that these should not be baptized, which have received the Holy Ghost as well as we? And he commanded them to be baptized in the name of the Adonai. Then prayed they him to tarry certain days.
Wow. Wow. See, Peter, whatever Peter bound on earth, it's going to be unloosed in heaven, bound in heaven, and whatever he unloosed on earth shall be unleashed in heaven.
That's right.
So he had the authority to say, no, I'm going to baptize them because I know what I got to do. See, that's a leader. That's a leader.
That's right.
He's saying with the Spirit, what these prophets have been talking about for millennia. Right?
And you know something else is deep, because at least, because people sidestep it, because we know that the nations have taken this tree. They were grafted in this tree of Israel.
Go ahead.
Right.
And so what they did was they said, well, we're going to cut down this tree and we're going to put up our own tree.
That's right.
This is not the sidestep.
That's right now. See, brother.
See, he said, while Peter yet spake, the Holy Ghost fell on them all which heard the word, and they of the circumcision, which were the Jews.
Okay.
He says, and as many came with Peter, but because that on the Gentiles also was poured out the gift of the Holy Ghost. And so they were able to speak in tongues. So the gift of the Holy Ghost was given unto them. But that spirit that was upon them, that's not what rested upon those Gentiles.
No.
It wasn't the same. So it's least of, because see, the people have taken this and made what we can do things on and just sidestep. No, that's not what he was saying. They were given gifts of the Holy Spirit and were able to perform various things as far as speaking in tongues.
Right.
And doing all other. They weren't raising people from the dead. That's not what was given unto them. That's not. You still had to go. You couldn't sidestep his people. Still showing them order.
A Jew got to be in control of this thing. For salvation is of the Jews. John 4, right?
But it wasn't even an issue back then because people weren't trying to. You see what I'm saying?
That's what we were a nation.
Correct.
We were in our land. They know, and that's what Christ broke it down. He says, "You worship, you know not. You worship, you know not what. But we know who we worship. For salvation is of the Jews."
That's correct.
So all this, Peter, this is in order. You got to get your salvation from a Jew, a Messianic Jew. You got to get his word, I should say, not necessarily to get this truth. You got to hear from one of us, somebody like us. We're not uplifting ourselves.
No, that was the thing. Cornelius was. Look how humble Cornelius.
Exactly.
His whole family was there. Yahweh said, "I heard your arm, your prayer, and your arms came up unto the throne."
That's right.
And he was sent. I mean,
Right.
This is deep.
So don't tell me. And what did Peter? Like you said, we read. Peter said, if these Gentiles, be it Europeans, Asians, any nation, if they're obedient, right?
Right.
They're accepted of Yahweh.
That's right.
Right? So this is the gospel that has to be sent to the whole world.
That's right.
Correct.
So, it's to the Jew first, though.
Yeah, that's correct.
That's the order. Then to the other nations, to the Gentiles.
Yeah, to every nation that fear Yahweh, and work righteousness. That's what you just said.
That's it.
Keeping the law. What is righteousness?
So the question now, so we read Leviticus 11 in detail.
Mm-hmm.
We to show the dietary law.
Mm-hmm.
We've just proven, Deacon Obadiah, as you read, that the dietary law was not abolished.
Correct.
So therefore, Peter was keeping the law of the dietary law, right?
That's right.
And if you keep reading, you're gonna find out Peter and all of them keeping the Shabbat.
That's right.
After the death, resurrection, and ascension of Christ,
And the holy days.
and the holy days. But now I want to stay on this topic of eating again, dietary, because people they get some stuff confused. And Deacon Elder Uriah, let's go to 1 Corinthians chapter 10, and we're gonna cover some things in here when we're talking about Yahweh's table. What you're eating in Corinth. Paul set a church there, the Church of Corinth, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we know that the people there were not all Jews. They were believers now in the Christ, Yeshua, but there were still some concerns, right, about things being sacrificed and things of that nature. And I think even when I used to read, before I came into this understanding, this confused me. So let's do it this way. Let's go ahead and let's do it in a full context. Would you? Let me see. Y'all want to go start from the beginning, Deacon or Elder Uriah? Do you want to go to verse 16?
Time's sake,
What time we got? Let's go ahead. Let's do it because maybe sometimes we don't cover this. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Let's go to verse 1.
Okay.
And then
we go from there.
Yeah. And this is going to give you that Paul is talking about our people in the wilderness and certain things. So again, you go to Jude, talk about his history. All right.
1 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 1. Moreover, brethren, I would not that you should be ignorant how that all our fathers were under the cloud and all passed through the sea.
So now his audience is speaking to the Jews that are in Corinth, right?
Correct.
So he said, all our fathers. So there are Jews there that believe in the Mashiach, and there are other nations, Gentiles there as well, right?
That's right.
So he's speaking to the audience of the Jews now, right?
That's right.
He's trying to make a clear distinction.
Yeah, distinction. Verse 2. And were all baptized unto Moshe in the cloud and in the sea, and did all eat the same spiritual meat, and did all drink the same spiritual drink. For they drank of that spiritual rock that followed them, and that rock was Christ. But with many of them Elohim was not well pleased, for they were overthrown in the wilderness.
Okay.
Verse 6. Now these things were our examples, to the intent we should not lust after evil things, as they also lusted.
That verse 6 very important now.
Yep.
See, when we're reading these things about the law, going back to our discussion before the class, when we began the class, about the Sabbath, all these things we're reading about is for our what does it say? For our example. It's for our admonishment, for examples, how to handle ourselves.
That's right.
Not to repeat those the bad things and to carry out those things that are good.
That's right.
Right?
That's right. Verse 7. 1 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 7. Neither be you idolaters, as were some of them, as it is written, the people sat down to eat and drink and rose up to play.
Deacon Elder, what is he referring to then? What is he referring back to?
Back to, I think in the book of Exodus chapter, with a mixed multitude.
Yeah. You know, and then they rose up to play.
32, yeah,
and they built that calf the same way.
Yeah.
They built that goat and they rose up to play.
That's
To worship, right?
Yeah.
So we have to see Paul knows the law. He can write it simple, he can write it complex. He knows the history, right?
He was a Pharisee.
That's
man.
right, he's a Pharisee.
He was a lawyer, man. Verse 8. Neither let us commit fornication as some of them committed.
Okay.
And fell in one day 23,000.
Okay, that when Moses took them out, had them took out, right?
Yeah.
But they committed fornication, not talking about sexual fornication. They committed fornication by breaking that first two commandments, right? They built an idol of gold, a calf, and bowed down right in the presence, just after Yahweh had married them.
That's right.
So that was fornication, right?
Yeah, that's right. I know. I think I know there was like some errors with this when it said 1 and 23. I think in Exodus it was like what 3,000.
Okay.
So that was a typo. So don't worry about that. Don't get too much for it because of the 23.
Yeah, I think it's down in the footnote in our Bible.
Yeah.
In the footnote, it says a discrepancy has been imagined. 1 Corinthians 10:8 gives the number of deaths in one day. Numbers 25:9. The total numbers of deaths in the plague, some discrepancy. So they're talking about, so we can go back and say, this the plague that took place. So like you said, there is a discrepancy there.
Yeah.
I'm not going to.
Don't worry about those numbers.
But you
don't get caught up with numbers.
Okay, I follow you.
Yeah. Verse 9. Neither let us tempt the anointed, as some of them also tempted and were destroyed of serpents. That was in the book of Numbers also.
Okay.
Yeah. Neither murmur you, as some of them also murmured and were destroyed of the destroyer. Destroyed by that angel. Verse 11. Now all these things happen unto them for examples, and they are written for our admonition, upon whom the ends of the world are come.
See, all those things are written. So we have to just understand where we are now. We're living in a different age,
Correct.
right? But certain things are still applicable.
That's right. Verse 12. Wherefore, let him that thinketh he standeth take heed lest he fall. Verse 13. They had no temptation taken you, but such as in common to man.
That's right. So we get there talking, oh, this, no, man, this stuff ain't nothing new under the sun. If you've been tempted like this, biggins have been tempted before you even got here.
That's right.
The same kind of stuff.
That's right.
It's nothing unique. It's not unique to you, sister. It's not unique to you, brother.
Yeah, you're not the first, and you're not going to be the last.
Amen.
The latter part of verse 13. But Elohim is faithful, who will not suffer you to be tempted about that you are able, but will with the temptation also make a way to escape, that you may be able to bear it.
Oh, you saying that Yahweh's tempting us to do evil?
No, Yahweh tempted no man.
Right. So then who's doing it then? Let's be honest. Okay, I want to talk about it.
Well,
so who's tempting you?
You have to tempt her.
Okay, let's be honest.
So
who's tempting us?
This is what he was
He was there from
right
in the garden there.
Yeah. So you got the tempter. Yahweh allows the tempter.
But
then,
no evil.
But Yahweh will let him just overwhelm you.
Right.
That's a balance, right?
There's a balance.
What he say with Job?
That's our God.
Just don't kill him.
Just don't kill him.
That's it. Do whatever now. You touch him, but just don't kill him.
Don't kill him.
And he touched him.
He put him on. He put them hands on him. See, that's what I wanted you to say. That's why that's right there. But we know when we're out here being tempted, people say, well, the Lord doing this to me. No, God, Yahweh. Well, Yahweh may be allowing you. Now, the temptation, I think that's the term, right? Yeah. Tempting. So if you're being tempted to do what? To sin? To do something that you know you shouldn't be doing? Is that what he's saying?
I mean, that's
right. Because Yahweh's not gonna let you.
I mean, all of us have to go through some form of test, one way or the other.
That's a test.
You understand?
Okay.
to find out who you really are.
Right.
You understand?
So there's a test. Now we got temptation.
Right.
So do we know what's going on?
You have to discern between it. You have trials, you have tribulations, you're going to go through temptations. The Mashiach was tempted, you know.
Oh,
okay. Let's look at what
he was tempted.
Satan say, man, command the stones be made bread. You know, just do something vain. Just do something. You fasting now. You're supposed to be out here on, you don't say you're going to do this and take care of this business.
Right.
Receive what you're supposed to receive.
Right.
Just do something vain in the process.
Right.
And that's like when you say you're taking your vow. You take a Nazarene vow, and then you go drink something or defile yourself. You might touch a dead body, not even on purpose.
Not on purpose, right?
And you fell in the way. Well, now you have to start it over.
Start over again.
Right.
So going back to what you're saying before we get there, Elder Uriah, when we are to just make it real. A lot of us, we're doing our best to walk before Yahweh and His Son right.
That's right.
But you're still going through something.
Yes, still has to go through. It's like a
You
it's
said
a
test.
test, but it's a growing process for
Right.
you also.
Right.
He said,
Right.
it's just man.
It's just man.
Yeah,
So
just man, yeah.
you could be tested,
Yeah.
and Yahweh can allow you to be tempted. So it's all Yahweh allowing certain things. So that's the thing I want to make sure we bring out. But there is one that if you do the wrong thing and presumptuously sin, you give room for Yahweh's enemies to accuse him.
That's right.
So who's the accuser of the brethren? Satan.
From the garden.
He's from the beginning. So we have to be careful how we roll out here. And like you said, we got to be careful. We said it last Shabbat. Be careful how you hear.
Yeah.
See, you can hear something, you can hear the word, but you got to be careful how you hear it. Because the way you hear it may cause you to put a stumbling block before another person.
That's right.
Cause you to say something wicked. Because you thinking, oh, they said this. I'm tired of these women. I'm tired of this. Hey, I'm tired of this, and this. You know what? You didn't create nobody. You didn't create nobody. You didn't make no man, no woman. Nothing. You cannot take them out, and you cannot quicken them again. Yahweh created them. What you mourning about? You're not mourning. You just want to judge and condemn instead of telling them, stop breaking the law. You don't have to do that. Matter of fact, sister, brother, I know you were selling drugs. I know you was killing your people. You were poisoning people.
That's right.
Right? Don't play games with Yahweh. You out there, you know your people are getting hooked on stuff, and it's taking their life, destroying families.
That's right.
Finances, the whole nine, right? But guess what? Even you, Mr. Dope Dealer, stop selling the dope.
Stop killing our people.
Stop doing what you're doing. And repent. Yahweh has made a way for you.
That's
to
right.
wash you up, right?
That's right.
That's all we're saying. So when you're being tempted, I've been tempted. I'm flesh. And guess what? Sometimes it stay on you, and you shake that thing out. You got to shake it off, and you come back, and you might talk to your brother and say, man, you know what? I almost went over to I almost called that sister up, man. I know I'm married. I almost gave her a call, man. I saw that woman, we were talking, and I was and that thing came on me.
Yep. See,
let's be real.
It says there's not one righteous. No, not one.
No, not one.
The just man get made perfect.
Exactly. So, but we got kind of deviated there. But that's it. That's what we're saying. Because that was so powerful when you read that, Elder. I wanted to stop right there at 13. A lot of point. But he says, well, Elohim is faithful, who will not suffer you to be tempted above you are able, but with temptation also make a way to escape, that you may be able to bear it. What did the Mashiach tell Peter? He told Peter, he said, Cephas, Satan has asked to sift you.
That's right.
That's right.
He want to sift you. But I pray that, I've got the word, but he said, I pray that you would endure, or I pray that you're able to.
After that.
Yeah. I'm sorry. But I hate to do that, but it's the spirit. I didn't have the verse. But that is it. You don't know who's asking. Satan asked to break down Job. Right? Let me get on it.
That's right.
Let me get on Deacon Uriah, Elder Uriah. Let me get on. You've been blessing him so much. Let me get at it.
Right.
I'll make him break down. When I get through with him, he'll break down. He don't want to even call your name. he'll throw that Bible in the garbage can when I get through with it. He'll be back to the Christian church and I get through with it. That's what that's what we wrestle not with the flesh.
That's right.
People, the spiritual things, the demonic forces out here dealing with us. We don't know it all the time. We have these troubles and we don't know why. But Yahweh wants us to turn to him, not run from him.
That's right.
Be like Job.
See, and it's an excellent example. Job, because his friends were sent to comfort him. And
Watch them
they
friends,
thought they were comforting him.
Watch them, but they thought they were.
They thought they were comforting him, but
They were for a little while, but then
they came too comforting.
Yeah.
They told their brother down. Job morning, man. He was in a bad situation. Man.
I'm looking at
What have you done so wrong, man?
But see, that's the point that I was getting to.
Yeah.
Is that when we're going to cover that when we get into Leviticus, dealing with we're going to deal with leprosy.
Right.
Our people deem that if something tragic happened to you, it had to be that you sinned.
You sinned.
When they saw the man, the disciples asked,
Exactly.
who sinned? Was it his parents? Was it him? Why was he going blind?
Exactly.
But they assumed someone had to have sinned.
Exactly.
He said it ain't got nothing to do with that.
It's for glory of Yahweh. He was made. Yahweh made him this way for this purpose.
See, that's what we were saying, like with the we're going to cover that.
Yes, sir.
It's
Go ahead. I didn't mean to cut you off, but go ahead.
Now, I know you mentioned where Elohim tempted no man. Do we have the time to go? James.
Yes. Let's hold our place here then. Yeah.
The whole place. So we go to the book of James. James. Chapter 1.
Okay.
Yeah, pick up at verse 13. Okay, we do have to read this into our people to let them understand that, the Most High don't tempt anyone.
Okay.
Verse 13. James chapter 1.
There it is in the word. Praise God. Thank you, brother.
Let no man say, when he is tempted, I am tempted of Elohim.
The book proves itself.
Yeah.
Go ahead, El.
For Elohim cannot be tempted with evil, neither tempted he any man. But every man is tempted when he is drawn away from his own lust and enticed. Then, when lust has conceived, it bringeth forth sin. And sin, when it finished, it bringeth forth death.
The wages of sin is death, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's right.
Go ahead, brother.
16. Do not err, my beloved brethren. Every good gift and every perfect gift is from above, and cometh down from the Father of lights,
Praise God.
with whom is no variableness, neither shadow of turning. Of his own will begat he us with the word of truth, that we should be a kind of first fruits of his creature.
Hallelujah.
Praise God.
Wherefore, my beloved brethren, let every man be swift to hear, slow to speak,
Right.
slow to wrath. For the rod of man worketh not the righteous of Elohim. Wherefore lay apart all filthiness and all superfluity of naughtiness, and receive with meekness an engrafted word, which is able to save your souls.
Hallelujah, brother. It's great. And see, we were talking about it, and then the brother, thank you, Elder, for going here, so you can go into the word and just laying it out. You follow me? Because again, we were talking about you tempted by your own lust. It's on you. You see that, and it's easy to talk about a man with a woman. That's an easy thing, but money, any of those things. And then next thing you know, you don't err and destroy yourself, seeking profit, seeking become rich. Many, I think as Paul talked about, many have messed up pursuing those things. They brought many evils upon themselves. So praise Yahweh. Yahweh is not doing it, but it's something in you though. See, you got to be tempted by something, but Satan studies you.
Of course. See, and that's where we go with
They go back what's in you.
those thoughts. For Yahweh ain't got to do it. He don't come out and do nothing to you. See, but the thoughts, Satan know your frame.
Right.
We were all raised up by Satan.
Exactly.
He's the prince of the earth. You can't sidestep Satan.
Nope.
And see, we were all raised up by him.
We all raised up.
Right? So he knows our frame. And so the thoughts, he says, man is drawn away by his own lust. Right? So, so all he gonna put them thoughts. He know what your weaknesses. He knows what you like. Exactly. He know what you fancy. He gonna put that right there in front of you.
And that's why we gotta be careful when we say, "Well, I'm so holy. I'm so this." No, Satan just ain't sent the. He has Yahweh has not allowed Satan to send that thing with you that'll wreck your life.
Yeah.
Yahweh know you can't handle that.
That's right.
I'm not gonna let that happen to him.
What happened to
That's
we read that in Genesis? See,
there it is.
when man came in, See, and he said, no, I wasn't going to touch him. No, I kept you
from touching Sarah. Right, Sarah. Yeah, that's right.
I didn't let you go that far. I didn't let you do that.
I didn't let you do it.
Yeah, you know.
See, it didn't you. It wasn't your righteousness.
You know, but he said, but
he was trying to do it.
He was trying to do right, but Yahweh knows his friend. He knows our friend.
He knows our friend.
And know our strengths.
Exactly.
Yeah, know our limitations, you know.
So let's see how Yahweh take that. You see, even with that temptation, we can go in verse 13. But now, again, we're still on this theme, going back to that diet. And I brought us here to that dietary law. We went to Acts 10 to show and to prove that the dietary law has not been done away with, right? That was Paul's vision was dealing with opening up the kingdom to the other nations, to the Gentiles.
That's right.
Right?
That's right.
But now some might, because they don't understand how to read Paul, the book. They don't understand how to read the book. So they might come here as the elder keeps reading, and we're going to see, to make sure they don't mess that up neither.
That's right. We're in the book of 1 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 14. Wherefore, my dearly beloved, flee from idolatry. I speak as to wise men. Judge you what I say. The cup of blessing which we bless is not the communion of the blood of Christ. The bread which we break, is it not the communion of the body of Christ?
That's right. That's what he said. This is my body, has been broken, right?
Mm-hmm.
Bread, it's symbolic, right?
Yeah, that's right. Verse 17. For we being many are one bread and one body. For we are all partakers of that one bread.
Which is Christ.
Mm-hmm. Behold, Israel after the flesh, are not they which eat of the sacrifices partakers of the altar?
Right. The priests do, and our people do too.
Correct.
That's right.
They take their portion, right?
Yeah, of course. Verse 19. What say I then? That the idol is anything, or that which is offered in sacrifice to idols is anything. But I say that the things which the Gentiles sacrifice, they sacrifice to devils and not to Elohim, and I would not that you should have fellowship with devils.
See, so he's saying those people that they were sacrificing to their gods at that time, right? But they're sacrificing to gods that are no gods.
That's right.
Devils, spiritual, and they were giving over to. That's theirs.
That's right.
And we're going to go there, Yahweh willing, to show you that Yahweh gave the nations over to those things up in Deuteronomy at some point, right?
Yeah.
Verse 21. You cannot drink the cup of the Adonai and the cup of devils.
No.
You cannot be partakers of the Adonai's table and of the tables of devils. Do we provoke the Adonai to jealousy? Are we stronger than he? Verse 23. All things are lawful for me, but all things are not expedient. All things are lawful for me, but all things edify not.
Okay, that's deep writing, ain't it?
Yeah.
That's a deep saying. That's what Paul talking about. Man.
Let not man seek his own, but every man another's well. Whatsoever is sold in the shambles that eat, asking no question for conscience sake.
While you're there, Deacon, can you go and look up with the shambles here? I got. Can you look up the shambles?
Oh, yes, sir.
In the Zondervan pictorial, and so where are we looking at here now, Ellie? Right, we're Paul is talking very cryptic in a way, or very. He writes, he's writing in a very elevated fashion.
Yeah, remember, he was well learned. And, he not really say he twisted the word. That is his style of writing. So if you don't really know the law, you will have a problem understanding Paul's writings.
Correct.
Yeah, so you have to know the law. And if you do know the law and practice the law, you won't have a problem with Paul's writings.
Exactly. And we wanted to catch that word shambles, so everybody can. Sometimes when we're reading on our own, we don't stop and have that dictionary with us to open it up. And so, if the Deacon Obadiah, have you found it?
Yes, sir.
Could you just read that out loudly and clearly to these people watching, so they can understand as Elder Uriah continues, they can understand what this shambles is about.
Okay. So it says shambles. The Greek word was makellon, from the Latin word makellum, which is meat market. This is what it's referring to, a meat market.
Okay.
Paul, answering a question of conscience regarding meat sold in the McKellen or the market, instructs the Corinthians to eat such meat without further inquiry as to its use in pagan sacrifices. The essential nature of the meat as food has not been affected, but this liberty must not endanger a weaker brother's conscience. So, like, an example of that today, Elder, would be like if a man went to a halal to buy halal meat. The Muslims bless their food. Well, all of the nations that sell, you don't know what they do with the meat that before they cut it up and sell it in the stores. But if you go to a Muslim, they sell halal meat. They may bless the food. So you don't go. So if I go into there, they're gonna say, "Well, is he Muslim?" No, the meat is clean. I'm buying clean meat.
Right.
So, but if it's gonna cause my brother to stumble, then I wouldn't do it in his presence.
That's right, brother. Great, excellent example.
But it didn't defile you to buy the meat.
Right. Because you're not buying pork. Now we're talking about meat that is clean.
Clean food.
Right, clean food. Lamb, goat, beef, chicken, anything that's considered clean.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Now I was looking back on verse 23 when it said all things are lawful to me, but not all things are not expedient. That you don't have to you don't have to buy it if you offend your brother. Even though it's a clean meat. And you have, all the requirement. It's not really requirement, but you have the option where you're not going to be sinning if you buy the meat.
Correct.
Yeah, so
and I think somebody read this, and I was confused about this for a long time before I came into the truth, and even now, early on. But it takes a minute to really, you have to study this to see where Paul is coming from.
Yeah.
And I think that's why when we saw that word shambles, I wanted to define it immediately. So when the elder began to edify us as he continued to read and bring out more information about it. But I'm going to give it back to you, elder.
Thank you. We're in the book of 1 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 26. For the earth is Yah's, and the fullness thereof. If any of them that believe not bid you to a feast, and you be disposed to go, whatsoever is set before you, eat, asking no question for conscience sake.
Now,
You better explain that by elder.
You go ahead. You're fine.
Because Christianity will say, you see it? You see it?
That's what there it is.
Yeah, you see it? We can eat everything. There's no problem in it.
It's just whatever they lay before me.
Yeah.
They have some dog meat. You might go to somebody, they might like eat dog. You got some dog down there. I'm not eating no dog. I'm not eating no rabbit. I don't want rabbit. I'm not used to that. I'm not eating any escargot. So it's not talking about that.
No.
Paul is a Jew. He's not going to eat anything unclean. He's talking about, it's implied, this starts off talking to Jews.
That's right.
Right? His brethren, our fathers. So he's letting them know, if you go there, you might go to the house of a Gentile, and they may set out some lamb, right? You eat it. Don't inquire, hey, who was this sacrifice? Did y'all sacrifice this before Zeus?
No.
Who did y'all sacrifice it? What God did y'all sacrifice? Well, we sacrificed it before whatever God. Well, I can't eat it. But if it's clean for its purpose to eat, if it's lamb, eat the lamb.
Go ahead and eat it.
Sit down and eat that lamb.
And shine your light.
And shine that.
How you gonna gain brothers? How you gonna gain? It's not. This is why I gave you light. So I got you in the mix of these people now.
Right.
You shine that light. That's why I put you there.
Okay.
That's right. That's right.
You worried about the wrong thing. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
That's the mindset.
Exactly. And we all sit down and eat, and the plate. Your wife brings. Let's see your wife bring the food out to me, and she don't work hard. Uriah don't brought us over here to eat, and they bring the food out, and everything looks nice. And then I said, well, Uriah, what was this prepared? Oh man, we prepared. Well, okay, well, brother, I'm gonna have to get up and go. I'm not gonna be able to die. Just bring me the veggies, and you're gonna insult everybody. Can I just have some bread? Thank you. I don't want to eat this.
Well, what if we just go? What if you go to your family members' home and they prepare a meal?
See, now,
or your
there
family
it
gets
is.
together, and it's not a holy day or a feast day,
right?
So I can't come and partake and with my family to try to gain my brothers. I can't do that.
See,
because it's not a holy day of Yahweh.
And those are the things we have to rethink.
See,
Elder Uriah.
Right.
Some of those things because Paul says, we know an idol ain't nothing. Santa Claus ain't nothing.
It's nothing.
Christmas tree ain't nothing but an idol. It's an idol. Now, you may not want to go. Now, if they bless it like the same thing. They might bless it and pray for it in their God's name. Now, sometimes you might say, no, I can't, you know.
You take this one up.
That's another, you know, I tell you what I'll do. You know, but that's a call you got to make. You know, we say, yeah, I'm going to step over there and say hello to everybody, but you may not want to eat for that purpose. You know, a lot of reasons. But we take it to different levels.
I wasn't even going there.
Yeah, I went to the holiday, just a regular dinner.
It could be
a get together.
Family gathering.
Exactly. Now, that's different. You're right. And so now you can't, well, if they ain't got the beef with the pork on the same grill on top of each other, well, what's your problem? Right? You can just say, let me get that piece over there. Right? You know, but I think that's what it's saying right here. Don't be so, we said it earlier, right? Stop trying to be so holy and righteous. Right? Is that kind of what we're saying too?
Yeah. Why was Yeshua asleep? Didn't the Pharisees have fault with him eating with the sinners?
Yeah, among his own people.
Why is he eating with these people?
Right.
Doesn't he know that these are sinners? These people they look down upon them. The tax collectors. They despise the tax collectors.
So you're guilty by association now.
You know, why you hang with them?
You surely can't be a prophet when a man invited him to his house. And he didn't offer no water or nothing to clean his feet. And the woman came in, and he said, surely he's a prophet. He would know what man or woman this is that touches him. And he read his thought. I got something to say to you, homie. You know what I mean? When I came here, you didn't offer me no water, nothing to clean his feet and everything. But this woman says she came in here, and this woman crying and washing my feet. You know what I mean? All these different things. It's hypocrisy.
Yeah, we're in the book of 1 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 28. But if any man say unto you, this is offered,
right?
This is offered in sacrifice unto idols, eat not, for his sake that show it, and for conscience sake. For the earth is Yahweh, and the fullness thereof.
Okay, what does that mean? So they said, but if any man say unto you, this is offered in sacrifice unto idols.
I mean, it let you know that this, what you see on the table here, it's sacrificed unto idols. Back away. Don't eat it.
Right.
That's it. But if you don't show it to you, if you don't tell you that it's sacrificed, you go ahead and eat it if it's real food.
You know, and we got to make another, I think it's good to look at an example. You got Obadiah here, you and I, and we had a place we're eating, and this brother's new in the word. Obi's new in the word, let's say for example. And Obi comes to me and said, hey man, they sacrificed that to idols. Because he's still new. Now, what Paul is telling us, you know, hey man, and I look over here at over Uriah and say, hey, Obi said that's for sacrifice to idols. Okay, we don't want to overthrow his faith right now. He may not be strong enough to deal with that. He's just got in his word. He may look at it, he's too
over-righteous.
It's over-righteous at this point. So we may not eat it. We're not going to eat it just for what? Conscience sake. Not because there's something wrong with it, but we're gonna forego for Obi's sake.
We're not going to let your brother fall.
We're not going to let him fall by seeing us do this. Because he said, man, these brothers, man, they have some other different type of stuff.
Right.
And you see that at other camps. They do that every day. This brother, he don't agree with everything, man. Why should I? If it's not written down here immutably, saying so everything else can be, well, I can raise a question and say, well, maybe da 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 da. But I'm not going to overthrow you. So I guess what I'm gonna keep. But sometimes keeping quiet causes problems. You got to know when to speak, right?
You remember that image that they put from slave days, and it showed a big, strong body.
Oh yeah, that thing.
I was holding with a
living Gentile, right? No head.
No. Our people deal with one another. Some of our people do that with each other. They don't want you to think for yourself. I mean, that's what this man was headless. He couldn't think. He had all this. He could do
physical strength,
but nothing up here.
Mentally gone.
This is the strongest muscle you have, though.
Right.
No brain.
And they don't want you to exercise that. And sometimes we see that in some camps. Well, you know, even when we were talking about the situation with our boy talking about with the church. and them playing games with our people, and it doesn't excuse our people.
Right.
But
right.
that's how they want us to be, in a sense of not thinking for yourself. So
Exactly.
they really, we kind of fall into this.
Exactly.
You know.
The worst thing the elites of this society want, George Carlin company said, the worst thing that's why they dumb down the school system. They don't want a educated, enlightened population of people that are able to use their brain to look at things around them. They want. That's right. You can't. You're hard to rule over.
Yeah.
Like I think somebody said, education makes an unfit slave. An educated man makes an unfit slave. You're not fit to be a slave now. Like, well,
Because you can think for yourself.
yeah. What you know about reading? We don't want you to know about no reading or anything or thinking.
Then you will be under control of that person or that body.
And guess what? And if you are a slave, an educated man among the ignorant masses or among the slaves, you can be a light to them, but more likely you can be a threat to them because they don't understand you.
That's right.
They can't understand you. Some of the things I used to study in school, Plato, and that's why you can learn a lot from these Gentiles.
That's
And
right.
there's Plato in the allegory of the cave. You know, and I'm gonna go into it, but that's something you can check into because when they come out of that situation, you come into light, education, coming out of that tunnel, and then you go back to help the people that are shackled, but they can't see what you see, right? So this is what Christ and what we're doing, keepers of the house of light, shining a light about these shambles now. Let's go ahead about this market. Let's wrap it on up.
We know in the book of 1 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 29, conscience, I say, not thine own, but of the other. For why is my liberty judge of another man's conscience? For if I, by grace, be a partaker, why am I evil spoken of for that for which I give thanks? Whether therefore you eat or drink, or whatsoever you do, do all to the glory of Elohim. Give none offense, neither to the Jews, nor to the Gentiles, nor to the church of Elohim, even as I please all men in all things, not seeking mine own profit, but the profit of many, that they may be saved.
Praise Yah. Praise Yah. And that's very profound because Paul is saying you don't have to tear down the Gentiles if they're doing things that are not according to the book.
That's right.
Educate them.
Yes.
Teach them. You don't have to be offended and just explain it. Now, whether they receive it,
that's on them.
That's on them, right?
Yeah.
We don't have to worry about that. But it's a way you can communicate this word. This word is not for you to go into. It's not to be.
Take it like a hammer. You can beat up everything.
Be everybody. And like you said, how are you going to bring them to the light, that you said earlier,
Right.
if you're not engaging people?
They're not going to listen to you, man.
He's not a respect. We just read that. We just read that in Acts 10. He's not a respected person.
And he would that often. I mean, this is the purpose of it.
See,
Why would he open the door to the Gentiles? Our fathers misunderstood. They didn't even understand that how Yahweh was going to save the other nations. That's where the mystery came. They knew that he was going to save them.
But how?
But how? That was a great question with the laws that we had. Yeah.
Praise God, man.
Praise.
And so this is what we wanted to just go into this to show more about the food. And we covered Acts 10, and then we went over here to 1 Corinthians 10 to try to illustrate that. Don't get confused with the shambles.
That's right.
It wasn't talking about unclean food. That was about talking about meat food sold in the meat markets. If you got a beef there, they might have some hog somewhere down the line in different places. But if you go to the supermarket right now, Whole Foods or here where we live at, and Whole Foods, they got a lot of other places, farmers market. Well, all kind of meats there, right? Or you gonna go in there and say, well, I can't buy this veal because I don't know if they sacrificed it to some kind of God. Were they Muslim? Were they Hindu people dealing with this butchering? Or did they bless it? Or did they say a silent blessing over it? I don't know. Don't worry about it. Just buy the meat. As long as it's clean, under the dietary law,
That's right.
you're good. Don't worry about all that other stuff.
Seeing all that, I mean, honestly, if you do the research on it, you see the way that the Muslims prepare.
It's better to go that route. You know, it's actually cleaner. Exactly. Exactly. So we were in, so again, we're going back to Leviticus 11 here. We completed that. We wanted to touch base and expound on more, right? Mm-hmm. About the cleanliness, the food, the dietary. But now we're going to go to chapter 12. And now we're going to get into some more things specifically. Again, this is the law given to a holy people, the children of Israel. Not saying they are set aside people, sanctified people. So everything they do in their life, they can't do it like the other nations.
That's
Yahweh
right.
laid it out for us and our fathers. Right?
That's right.
So everything, because you have to be holy because Yahweh is holy. Mm-hmm. And you cannot approach Yahweh in a way that he has told you is unclean.
Correct.
Right? You have to be clean the way he wants you to be clean. Right? That's right. What's the debate?
You want to challenge the Creator?
Right. Well, the Lord will take me as I am, and yeah, your God will. That's not Yahweh, obviously. We're not going to talk about that. But we're talking about what's in this book. Now, if you're interested in this truth, the God of this Bible, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, hey, he's not onerous. His son's burden is not even light, heavy. Right?
That's right.
But you got to understand, right? So let's see what the law is. I think you're up now, right? Elder Ryan? Or is it Deacon over there? Elder? So let's go into. Yes, it's on you then, right? It's on you.
That's a short one.
Yeah. So yeah, that's fine. That's fine. But it's power packed because it's applicable to the day.
That's
our
right.
fathers and mothers, our mothers were doing these things without even we knew what they were doing, right? I would see things and hear about things. You know, hey, have a baby. Why you don't go out in that air? You sit down. They would stay home. They wouldn't just run back to work.
That's right.
Because the man told them they got to be back to work the next week or two.
You know, I remember
after having a baby
in Libya.
In Libya?
Yeah, prior to them before Gaddafi was killed, we would get a year off. All families, the man and the woman, would be given a year off with pay to allow you time to recoup after you had the baby, time with your family.
Right.
This was a law among men. Even among y'all, you married a wife, you was supposed to take time
take out, make her happy, kind of help her with that separation from her family. But you know what? But he was so evil, Gaddafi. But now the people in Libya are catching hell. They're catching hell now. Now they souped them up to have a coup and revolt, and that's the Arab Spring and all that stuff. Yeah. And they got him out. They murdered him.
I started to go there.
Yeah, well, it's in the book. It's historical. They shot him in the hole, right? Yeah. They beat him up, shot him. They did him wrong.
Public TV.
And he, was he right? Was he right? Perfect? No. But look at what the lives of the people were much better.
This is one of the richest African coast.
Exactly. And he tried to enrich others and help them. So, but now, look at what's going on in Libya now. Take your time and see what's going on. We have to always consider it. It's not political. We're not going to go into all that. But the bottom line is, like you said, going back to the childbirth and parenting and taking time off. But you over here working in America, it started off as a slave colony, and that's what it is to this very day. It ain't changed. They're going to work you to death. They don't care about your family. They don't care about you. No. They want you to just work. You can't work no more. And you think you're going to retire. You ain't retired. You're going to be sick. You're going to be too sick to retire to enjoy anything. You're going to enjoy now while you got a chance.
That's right.
Elder.
You're too old.
It kind of, bring back memories. The first job that I went to, my first supervisor looked at me and said, man, he said,
drink some juice, man. With your throat.
Oh no, my throat was I'm good. But I was trying to recall what he said to me, and he was a good man. He was a good Gentile, and he said, "Look, man, let me inform you some things. The only person you need to trust is yourself." He said, "We will use you like a mule, and when you're done, we throw you outside and catch Someone
fresh
else.
meal, right?
A fresh meal out there. And he gave me some good advice. Man.
Praise God for that,
That's
brother.
why I'm still in that game right now.
Right. You're able to pace yourself. You know,
And he was a Gentile.
take care of yourself.
Not one of my brothers.
Right. They'll work you to death.
Yeah.
And I had a guy who told me that. He told me the same thing, Gentile, but he said, I operate from the a-hole system of management. I put it on one person. I work one person. If you're able to do it, then work that person down. Then I go on to the next person work. As long as you're able to do it, so that's why you can't be so efficient sometimes in these jobs. They'll take advantage of it.
Yeah, I know.
Promote you. Yeah, you're right. You might get a promotion, but you got to have common sense. You know what I mean? And sometimes Yahweh allowed you to get a hint.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Don't burn yourself out. So let's hit Leviticus chapter 12, Deacon Obadiah, pertaining to the law of motherhood. The law of motherhood.
Praise God. Leviticus chapter 12, verse 1. And Yahweh spake unto Moshe, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, saying, If a woman has conceived seed and born a man-child, then she shall be unclean 7 days.
Okay.
According to the days of separation, for her infirmity shall she be unclean.
Right after birth of that woman child, 7 days, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
And in the 8th day, the flesh of his foreskin shall be circumcised, and she shall then...
I'm sorry, I said woman, but it's a male.
This is
I'm
for
sorry,
a
I
male child.
apologize.
Yes, sir.
I'm sorry. It's a male child's born. It's 7 days, right? She's
Yes, sir.
separated. She's unclean.
She'll be unclean 7 days.
7 days, and then go ahead and start back up.
Yes, sir. Verse 3. And in the 8th day, the flesh of his foreskin shall be circumcised, and she shall then continue in the blood of her purifying 33 days. So it'll be a total of 40 days.
40 days for the male child, right?
She shall touch no hallowed thing, nor come into the sanctuary until the days of her purifying be fulfilled.
So they may say, well, that's being sexist. No, that's not being sexist. This is blood. She has to be purified. She has to go through these things, and women knew this. You go to other countries, it's not even, they do this now.
See.
In other places, particularly in Africa, in continental Africa, certain places, this is not an uncommon thing. They still practice these things.
And it's
to a degree.
A lack of understanding comes to a lot of men, because men will think that a woman is, because the scripture says unclean, like she's filthy or she's defiled. No. It says she's being purified.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of misunderstanding among, and so it's not something that's even dealt with delicately or even explained or discussed in a manner that understand, like, the woman is being purified. This is how she becomes clean. So this has to take place. Yeah. This is not a defile. They say that
she's not been defiled.
You understand?
But this is purification.
This is purification.
Childbirth is natural.
That's a blessing to bring forth.
Exactly. The fruit of the womb.
That's right.
Man, go ahead. You talking? See, okay, so it's 40 days, right?
Yes, sir.
Total.
So 7 days for the unclean, right?
7 days.
And then the 8th day he's circumcised.
That's 8.
And then she count 33 more days.
Okay.
Then she could come back into the. She just couldn't come around holy things.
Was that 8 plus 33? Is that 8 plus 33?
Well, 7 plus 7 and 33.
Right, it's 40, right?
Yeah, one section is for her separation, and that's
right.
That section is
33 more days. That's 41,
for
right?
Purification.
41?
Huh?
That'd be 41 days?
No, 40.
Yeah, I got
40
days.
You got 40 days?
40
okay.
days.
Just want to make sure we counting.
Yes, sir.
Counting. Okay.
Yeah. The 8th day would be counted among the 33.
Yeah, because she's continuing.
She's continuing in this, because she would be unclean for 7 days normally, and then on the 8th day, but on this 8th day, you circumcise a child, and it's still numbered within the 33 days. Then she can come back among holy things. It was just among
holy things. Not at the household with you and your husband.
You understand?
Don't touch me, wife.
See?
No, that's you've been taught wrong. Right?
Yes, sir. Verse 5. But if she bear a maiden child, then she shall be unclean 2 weeks.
Okay, so it's double now, right?
Double now.
Okay.
Yep. As in her separation. And she shall continue in the blood of her purifying 66 days. So 66 days plus 14 days. That would be a total of 80 days.
I got 80 days. So it's 80 days.
Yes, sir.
And so whatever, we don't know. Yahweh is telling you these things because Yahweh's holy. So he's making the distinction here with this time, 40 and 80, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay? For the male, 40 days. of that whole purification process.
Correct.
And now with the female child, it's 80 days for that purification process.
Yes, sir.
Right?
Yes, sir. Verse 6, it says, "And when the days of her purifying are fulfilled for a son or for a daughter, she shall bring a lamb of the first year for a burnt offering, and a young pigeon or a turtle dove for a sin offering, unto the door of the tabernacle of the congregation, unto the priest."
So now you see how Yahweh starts this at the top. You know, it's going to be based on your economic situation. So now, if you're able, this is what you have to do.
Yeah.
You got to bring that lamb of the first year, right? That's a sacrifice, that right?
That's
That's
it.
good. That's for the burnt offering, and a young pigeon or a turtle dove for a sin offering unto the door. So you got to bring. Okay, and again, it's dealing with your economic situation, right? So now let's go. Now, go next.
Yes, sir. Verse 7, or latter part of verse 8. "Unto the door of the tabernacle of the congregation, unto the priest, who shall offer it before Yahweh, and make an atonement for her, and she shall be cleansed from the issue of her blood.
Okay.
This is the law for her that has borne a male or a female.
Okay.
And if she be not able to bring a lamb, then she shall bring 2 turtles, or 2 young pigeons, the one for the burnt offering, and the other for a sin offering. And the priest shall make an atonement for her, and she shall be clean." And this is turtle dove.
The turtle dove. Thank you for saying it. No, you gotta say it because sometimes it can be very literal. You're right. So this is the law of the women. This is the law of motherhood, right? Go ahead, let me cut you off.
No, I don't say unclean animal. The turtle.
Exactly. The turtle. Man, if you don't get out of here,
See,
you'll beat you before you get. You'd be shot before you got to the tabernacle.
Levi, what do you live?
Hey, well, he wouldn't be good. No, you misread, brother. Now let's see the economic condition of Mary, the mother of Yeshua HaMashiach, or Miriam. Let's go to the Gospel of Luke, chapter 2, and Obi, could you continue with that?
Okay.
In the Gospel of Luke, chapter 2.
Yes, sir.
And so we're going to show you now Mary at the birth of her son, Yeshua HaMashiach. And when you read all of that chapter, we're going to start at verse 21 to verse 24, just to show that Mary was keeping the law.
Right.
This was part of the culture, right? But she had to do these things. Now, when you read the beginning of chapter 2, it's the birth of Christ, right?
That's right.
And then the shepherds saw it.
That's right.
Correct?
That's
So
right.
now we are coming, Yeshua is going to be born, and let's see what Mary is going to do. And it's consistent with the law
That's
that
right.
we just read, correct?
Yeah.
We're going to see this.
Verse 21. Luke chapter 2, verse 21. "And when 8 days were accomplished for the circumcising of the child, his name was called Yeshua, which was so named of the angel before he was conceived in the womb."
Okay. Right with the law, 8 days.
That's right. Verse 22. "And when the days of her purification, according to the law of Moshe, were accomplished, they brought him to Jerusalem to present him to Yahweh. As it is written in the law of Yahweh, every male that openeth the womb shall be called holy to Yahweh, and to offer a sacrifice to that which is said in the law of Yahweh, a pair of turtle doves or 2 young pigeons."
See, so they didn't mention a lamb here. That's on purpose,
Correct.
because that's what she presented.
That's just like what she could afford.
What she
That's
could
right.
afford,
That's
right?
Right.
So
So
everything.
she wasn't rich.
She wasn't rich. That's showing you the economic situation of Joseph and his wife, right? His young bride.
That's right.
They didn't have the lamb to bring.
Mm.
So don't worry about what you got materialistically. She was blessed when the angel Gabriel appeared before Mary. He says, "Hail, blessed, who's found what?
You that are highly favored among women.
Highly favored among women." Was she rich, walking around with a fur coat on? See, that's the secular world.
See.
But you might be desperately poor and miserable with all that riches on you.
That's right.
That's
This
right.
humble sister, Yahweh found favor her. For whatever reason, he selected Mary to bring forth that holy thing.
Right.
Right?
She's
Praise God.
called blessed forever. Why did you choose you?
Why choose me?
Yeah.
Your handmaiden. So what she told the angel. So whatever, let it be unto me, the handmaiden of Yah.
That's right.
See, we got to see. You ain't got to beat these sisters into what. Now you sit here calling all the women. See, we have to be careful. We have been beat, brother. What more can you say? I've never seen that a people right now. We are not just among the Hebrews. We are divided in this country. There's a division now among the men and the women.
Has a nation ever hated their own women?
Wow.
Yeah.
Any nation of people? Have you ever read about that?
I never heard about that. And I definitely heard about that.
That's unprofitable for that nation.
I know. And it's
I know.
It doesn't make any sense.
That's why we cannot get together.
And the inverse is strictly applicable.
Correct.
What nation of women hate their men?
Correct.
I mean, this is something, a new thing.
Correct.
It's a new curse.
Mm.
It's something new.
As soon as we get a little money in our pocket, guess where we go? Different nationalities.
Right.
Get worldwide.
Yeah.
Mm.
And we got to, but see, that's why Yahweh had to come and to save us.
Yeah.
You know,
Mm.
with that song we used to sing, from Save Us Yahweh. I think your daughter was a song, one of those songs. You know, save us.
Yes, sir.
You know what I mean? One of my favorites. Save us.
Mm.
Because if Yahweh don't save us, we've done it.
Mm.
And nothing we can say here that can undo what hundreds of years have wrought on our people.
No.
We can't, you know, politics is not going to change it.
Mm.
Only Yahweh can do it unless He gives us the heart. You know, and everybody's not doing that.
No.
Don't get me wrong. There's only a certain aspect of the community.
Mm.
We sometimes everybody's doing it. No, everybody's not brought up like that.
That's
And everybody's not following that foolishness.
Mm.
But it is an embarrassment, though.
It is.
And we use social media, the women freely and the men. We put all our filthiness and confusion, the stupid stuff out there. And guess what? Other nations see that, and they really believe that's how we are as a people. Collectively.
Yeah.
They kind of wild.
Mm.
But I grew up saying, you represent this house when you leave this house.
That's right.
Don't let everybody know you're a fool. You don't act a fool out here. You carry yourself with respect. Yeah, we were in a hostile situation because you're black. That was your sin.
Mm-hmm.
But even in that situation, even to this day, you carry yourself out here a certain way.
That's right.
You're not raised by wild people. You know what I mean? And I don't care what the world does. We got to still raise our children like that. We still got to instill in them character, integrity, and it starts with what? The fear of Yahweh.
That's right.
You know, and they may get up older, but you know what? You don't know what Yahweh will do. See, they might get older and walk this way, but that's okay. Raise a child in the way they should go. And when they get older, they might whatever, but guess what? Yahweh got a way of calling them back.
The prodigal son.
The prodigal, that's it, brother. That's the prodigal son.
He had to go through that.
He had to go through it to see that situation. So now we get ready to jump into chapter 13, and you read a little bit here. This is a long chapter. It deals with the leprosy, and now those of you, I would advise if you got a Zondervan pictorial. I'm gonna hold it up, and you can show me your book too. Get you a Zondervan pictorial dictionary. Right there. Or I'm gonna hold it up to the camera. Or a Holman illustrated dictionary. And you, as you're studying, using these two books, right? And you can look up there about they have detailed information about leprosy, skin disorder. You know, you got certain leprosy that what is it called? What's the actual name of that the people have when their flesh falls out? Let me find it here, and I'll just look up here.
We got modern day
Hansen's disease.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to remember.
It's Hansen. I couldn't think of it. Now that's something different.
Mm-hmm.
That's when your body, it rots your skin off. You might start losing digits and different things. But there were certain skin disorders of the ancient times, and I love the Zondervan. They breaks it down, and I'm quite sure Holman probably does as well. It kind of puts you in a context to look at those skin disorders, right? But no, that some may be Hansen's, but I don't think it's Hansen's in here.
Correct.
So it's not Hansen's disease.
Yeah, they use a Hebrew word for leprosy. The word that they put in Zartan.
Okay.
I may pronounce it wrong.
Okay.
But they translated that for leprosy.
Right.
So they may be, they're incorporating all words, that may be a translated word that they put in, and may take some things out of context.
Exactly.
Because, I mean, it seems like the priests were more than just, they
practice medicine in a way.
If you have an issue with your skin, you go to a dermatologist today, right?
Right.
But the priests, they went to the priest.
Right.
You know?
Exactly.
And they were able to tell them, no, this is what that is. You stay away.
Exactly. Contagion.
Yeah,
and quarantine.
Yeah.
Right.
But you sitting around here with a plague. I'm gonna just say it, a plague on the planet, and you telling people just walk on out, have faith. See, that's showing you ain't got enough understanding to even save yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Yahweh got to use the Gentiles, the nation, and the governments to keep you alive.
Mm.
Now, what's the next? Now, bubonic plague. You can't. Yahweh give you common sense. A man sees the evil afar off and hides himself.
That's right.
Yeah, you got faith. I got faith. But see, that's when you start finding yourself. You got to have what? The common sense that Yahweh gave you.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
What did Ezekiel say? You need to warn the people. God's a watchman. You're supposed to warn the people.
Mm. So let's get, what time are we looking at right now?
We just passed 2 hours.
Okay, so let's go ahead and break this down. Chapter, if we do, let's like if we do half and half, okay? Let's see, how many verses you need to read? I want to try to make it, huh?
Almost 6.
Almost 6 to 30. You get to 30, 31, and then we give it to Elder Deacon Ryan. So you're up now, right? You reading that? Yeah. Okay, so let's go into, again, we are holy. These are Yahweh's holy people.
Mm-hmm.
So again, I can't reiterate it enough. You cannot, Yahweh is doing these things so you don't present yourself before him in a bad way and might lose your life, right? Or be cut off from your people.
That's right.
You know, cut off, lose your life. You know, so these things, so he got the priest in a position. So Elder Uriah, take it away, sir.
Leviticus chapter 13, verse 1. And Yahweh spake unto Moshe and Aaron, saying, when a man shall have in the skin of his flesh a rising, a scab, or a bright spot, and it be in the skin of his flesh,
so let's go ahead and
like the plague of leprosy.
Hold on a minute. I want you to hit those again so everybody can understand what he's saying. When you have the skin, you name about 3 or 4 of them, right?
Mm-hmm.
State those again. So one's a rising. Go ahead.
Let me start verse 2 over. When a man shall have in the skin of his flesh a rising, a scab, or a bright spot, and it be in the skin of his flesh like the plague of leprosy, then he shall be brought unto Aaron the priest, or unto one of his sons, the priest.
So the leprosy, the skin disorder they're talking about, it may be, it says light. So let's make sure it's not leprosy.
Right.
So you got to report to Aaron or one of his sons immediately, ASAP.
Correct.
Verse 3. And the priest shall look on the plague in the skin of the flesh, and when the hair in the plague is turned white, and the plague inside be deeper than the skin of his flesh, it is a plague of leprosy, and the priest shall look at him and pronounce him unclean.
So when they talk about it's in the flesh, just help me understand that, Elder, right? So is this saying if this thing is sinking into the skin?
Yes.
That's what they're talking about? It's made an indentation, kind of
Into
like?
the skin.
Okay.
Deeper.
Okay, it's deep. Okay.
Yeah, within the skin. So pretty much don't allow the skin to grow, so you can come back to the original skin.
So that could be that rising. So that rising, for example, you mentioned.
Oil.
Right, some oil.
So you got to determine that.
Mm-hmm.
So it could be a scab there on it.
Yeah.
But it's keeping that hair or whatever it may be. Okay.
From growing up, yeah.
So I mean, essentially, the priests are acting in the part of like the board of health.
Yeah, exactly.
Disease control.
Exactly. Communicable disease.
Yeah.
Literally.
Well, don't we have one?
Leprosy is extremely contagious.
Yep.
Exactly. We got to make sure you don't bring this around here.
Exactly. Don't we have a Department of Health? Georgia Department of Health.
Sure.
The nation got the CDC and all various types of health organizations, but we don't question them.
No.
Because you don't want to go in a restaurant and catch something and spread it out. right?
That's right.
The rules, right? The law. Here's we read the law now, right?
Mm-hmm. Verse 4. If the bright spot be white in the skin of his flesh, and inside be not deeper than the skin, and the hair thereof be not turned white, then the priest shall shut up him that had the plague 7 days.
Okay, quarantining him for a minute. That's what that is, right?
Correct.
It's a quarantine.
Let me see what happens.
Mm-hmm. Verse 5. And the priest shall look on him the 7th day, and behold, if the plague in his side be at a stay, and the plague spread not in the skin, then the priest shall shut him up 7 days more.
So now you take another precaution.
Yeah.
Give him 7 more days just to
Yeah.
make sure, right?
Yeah.
Okay, it's not spread after. Go ahead.
Verse 6. And the priest shall look at him again the 7th day, and behold, if the plague be somewhat dark, and the plague spread not in the skin, the priest shall pronounce him clean. It is but a scab, and he shall wash his clothes and be clean.
Okay, that's the diagnosis, right?
Yep.
He don't been quarantined 14 days.
Mm-hmm.
The priest has looked upon him on the 14th day. He says, it's good, it hasn't spread, it's dark, it's a scab. He's now clean, and he can go wash his clothes. Can he go home now? What happens next?
Well, he can come. He would be allowed to come.
Yeah, I call yeah.
Okay. But what if not? Okay, definitely. But what if? I mean, what if it is a scab?
Well, it's a different situation.
But if it's spread, right?
That's a different situation.
Verse 7.
Here we are.
Yeah.
But if the scab spread much abroad in the skin, after that he had been seen of the priest for his cleansing, he shall be seen of the priest again.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Verse 8. And if the priest see that, behold, the scab spreadeth in the skin, then the priest shall pronounce him unclean. It is a leprosy.
It is a leprosy. Praise God.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know, it's good to understand, all those stuff, so you can prevent, that disease to spread all over the camp.
Exactly.
Yeah. Verse 9. When the plague, this kind of remind me of the COVID.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah, you found something that is unusual, so you have to quarantine the people. Send them home.
Right.
We can't get together.
Well, I'm not going to stay at my house. Well, they may carry you out your house. So be it.
Yeah.
I hate to speak, but but you're right, brother. This is Yahweh has allowed these things. The earth has been defiled by sin.
Of course.
These things are in the earth, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the prince of the earth is Satan.
That's right.
So this is an unclean place at this point.
Mm-hmm.
So why are we surprised about dis-ease?
All right.
Mm-hmm. Verse 9. When the plague of leprosy is in a man, then he shall be brought unto the priest, and the priest shall see him. And behold, if the rising be white in the skin, and it have turned the hair white, and there be quick raw flesh in the rising,
Okay.
it is an old leprosy in the skin of his flesh, and the priest shall pronounce him unclean, and shall not shut him up, for he is unclean.
It's an old leprosy.
Yeah.
So they're not going to shut him up for quarantine because he's already. It's
not getting better.
It's not getting better.
Okay.
He was pronounced clean at one time.
Yeah.
Okay.
But now it's come back.
Yeah. Verse 12. And if a leprosy break out abroad in the skin, and the leprosy covered all the skin of him that had the plague from his head even to his foot, wheresoever the priest looketh,
Okay.
then the priest shall consider, and behold, if the leprosy have covered all his flesh, he shall pronounce him clean. That had the plague, it is all turned white. He is clean.
So now your skin, your melanin has been changed, right?
Yeah. Completely.
So a black
From
man,
head to foot.
right? So a black man's, you looking, you've seen people look like that before. And I forgot what the disorder is. But
sometimes today they call it alopecia.
Alopecia,
Yeah.
right. So, and then speaking, letting you know about the skin condition of the people at the time. These are black people.
Yeah.
These are dark people.
That's right.
Right?
That's right.
Verse 14. And when raw flesh appeareth in him, he shall be unclean. And the priest shall see the raw flesh and pronounce him to be unclean. For the raw flesh is unclean, it is leprosy. It is a leprosy. Or if the raw flesh turn again and be changed unto white, he shall come unto the priest. And the priest shall see him, and behold, if the plague be turned into white, then the priest shall pronounce him clean that hath the plague, he is clean. Verse 18. The flesh also, in which even the skin thereof was a boil, and is heat, and in the place of the boil there be a white rising, or a bright spot, or white, and whatever reddish, and somewhat reddish, and it be showed to the priest. Verse 20. And if when the priest see it, behold, it be in sight lower than the skin, and the hair thereof be turned white, the priest shall pronounce him unclean. It is a plague of leprosy, broken out of the boil. But if the priest look on it, and behold, there be no white hairs therein, and if it be not lower than the skin, but be somewhat dark, then the priest shall shut him up 7 days.
Now, you see how with the specificity that this is being laid out. This is an ordinance, people, of leprosy. This is the ordinance of leprosy, the skin disorder. We just went over the ordinance concerning motherhood. Prior to that, we went over the ordinance of the dietary law.
That's right.
Right?
That's right.
So, and I think prior to that, the dietary law, what did we cover? Yeah, we cover these things. You know, we see how in 10 that was strange fire, right? So these are ordinances for certain things in the nation of Israel, how to deal with certain things, right? So that's why it seems like we're going through a whole lot, but let's pause right there for a minute. Where are you?
I'm going to start 22.
Okay,
start 21.
Okay, go ahead and finish at 22.
Verse 22. And if it spread much abroad in the skin, then the priest shall pronounce him unclean. It is a plague.
Okay, hold that right there. So now let's kind of show you another example. Let's look at the Mashiach dealing with leprosy, right? And I think I got that written down here.
Matthew.
Is it Matthew 8?
8.
Yeah, Matthew 8. Go ahead and you're going to continue to read on, Elder, in Leviticus. Let's switch it over. Deacon, you want to read that? And then we're going to just see what the Mashiach. So thousands of years later, leprosy is still on the scene. It's still dealing with people in the antiquity, right?
Correct.
And some of Yahweh's people are still being plagued. And this is chapter 8. And you can just read verses 1 through 4.
Yes, sir.
Just to show an example of this.
All right, now look. Matthew chapter 8, verse 1. When he was come down from the mountain, speaking about Yeshua, great multitudes followed him. And behold, there came a leper, and worshipped him, saying, Master, if thou wilt, thou canst make me clean. And Yeshua put forth his hand, and touched him, saying, I will, be thou clean. And immediately his leprosy was healed, was cleansed. And Yeshua saith unto him, See thou, tell no man, but go thy way, show thyself to the priest, and offer the gift that Moshe commanded for a testimony unto them.
So now we're going to go back to Elder Uriah.
I know, but before we go, why Yeshua send the leper to the priest?
Because, okay.
Come on, that's how the Lord was done away with.
Exactly,
Come on, man.
Exactly. That was
What are we doing? What are what are Mishap doing? Come on.
Yeah, he messed it up, right? Okay.
He messed up this time. Come on.
But look at how Yeshua magnified the law.
Right.
Oh,
See,
come on now.
We just read that the priest would have to look upon him and
Right.
deem him clean. They
Right.
would shut him up 7 days. And
Right.
Yeshua didn't do that.
No.
He touched him.
That's right.
Right? Now, I mean,
Kill him straight up.
throw the book. I mean, is he freestyling? No. See, he's magnified. He showed him. He touched him and said, If you would, you could just make me clean. This brother had faith. I know you can clean.
You have to have faith, man.
He touched him. I will. I want you to be clean.
Right.
Now go present just go to the priest.
Show
him look at you and then offer that offering because I already pronounced you clean. They can't say you unclean.
Right. But the beauty of this is Yahweh, Yeshua, like you said, he walks perfect in the law. He did not sin. He had that was given unto the priest. They still, everything's decently in order, right?
That's right.
They still had to go back to the priest because that was Aaron's, that was on them under the law.
Okay.
Yeah, he cleaned them. But then you still got to go back you still got to go present yourself.
But he was known to be a leper.
He was known to be a leper.
He's going to go back to the temple.
He got to go show himself. Right.
Well, now go present yourself.
Now
present yourself. Because the priest have to tell you, you were clean.
They have to pronounce you.
That's the law because they were still under.
They're still under our priesthood.
Yeah,
and
right.
We're under that priesthood. We're not under it now because we've been dispersed. but praise God. He magnified the law.
But he pronounced them clean.
He pronounced them clean. Praise God. He pronounced them clean. Now go present yourself to the error, but everybody know you're a leper. You can't be seen out here interacting with people. It might kill you.
Yeah,
so whatever.
Right.
So you got to go with the priest. So everything is right.
Don't tell nobody.
Don't tell nobody.
See,
go straight to the priest.
Come on, man. I can't keep this.
Okay.
Oh, man.
So
I have to show it to the word.
Okay, definitely. So now to keep things moving, I just want to show you that the priesthood was still in effect. The Aaronic priesthood is still in effect, but one that's greater than the temple is there with him.
Teacher.
You know what I mean? So he spoke it. He said, "No, you good. You him. I will.
Don't tell nobody.
I will." He said, just put forth his hand and touched him, saying, "I will."
Man,
praise God, man.
You know what it's showing?
All the glory to Yahweh.
God is showing that, man, all authority was given to the bride.
All that.
That's
all
everything was
everything.
See, that's the part. That's what verse 4 was showing.
See, these things deep.
Don't tell him, man.
Don't tell him.
Just go to the priest.
Go to the priest.
Do what you got to do. He didn't sidestep the priest.
No.
He said, go get the offering they require.
Right. Because remember, Yahshua never rebuked those priests of Yahweh.
No.
He never got on them because he dealt with the scribes and the Sadducees, but the priests and the council, they all came together to kill him. So he didn't challenge Yahweh's thing that was in order. Right? So Yahweh, like Yahshua was showing you, he suffered all things to be done under righteousness. He said righteousness was done. Yeah, I got the authority, and I did heal you. But I still want you to go ahead. You got to still do this.
Yeah, that's what he told John the Baptist.
The same thing.
Yeah.
Same thing. Suffer now.
Yeah.
To be so.
Yeah, let's go and feel all
righteousness. Hallelujah. So let's get back to Leviticus. And I think, but we don't get into the different. Let's keep on moving.
We're in the book of Leviticus, chapter 13, verse 23.
Okay.
But if the bright spot stay in its place and spread not, it is a burning boil, and the priest shall pronounce him clean.
See, we're showing the priest. We know these are the law, right? The works of the law, I should say. Leviticus, the works of the law. And going back to what you said, Deacon, this is given to the priests to do.
That's right.
Right?
That's right.
And they got these various roles.
That's right.
They're keeping down communicable diseases such as this.
Yeah.
Right? Skin and things of this nature, right?
So it's not just the letter. They were so versed.
Right.
It just shows our people. We're limited to these things. It seems like we're limited now in our understanding.
Yeah, we are.
Because our fathers were very far ahead of us in that sense.
I agree.
Verse 24. Or if there be any flesh in the skin whereof there is a hot burning, and the quick flesh that burneth of a white bright spot, somewhat reddish or white, then the priest shall look upon it, and behold, if the hair in the bright spot be turned white, and it be in sight deeper than the skin, it is a leprosy broken out of the burning.
Okay.
Wherefore the priest shall pronounce him unclean. It is the plague of leprosy.
Gotcha.
But if the priest look on it, and behold, there be no white hair in the bright spot, and it be no lower than the other skin, but be somewhat dark, then the priest shall shut him up 7 days.
Okay.
And the priest shall look upon him the 7th day, And if it be spread much abroad in the skin, then the priest shall pronounce him unclean. It is the plague of leprosy. Can you imagine, man, that the priests have a great job to do?
Exactly. Very important.
You have a serious job to do. Cannot afford to make errors.
Right.
Verse 28.
But notice though, if you're all white, if the skin has become white, it's deemed to be clean. You're clean.
Yeah.
Although you've got a skin condition.
Right.
From the top, I guess, from the top of your head to the bottom of your feet, I guess. But you're still clean, right?
That's right.
So I want to make sure we emphasize that.
That's
We're going to see that again.
Yeah, because there's various variations of this skin disorder.
Exactly.
And you know, they bring it up to today's time. It is exceeded now. So
exactly.
You got to put it in perspective. It was multiple. They had to deem whether it was leprosy. It could have been different things.
Right.
Oil, like it was a scab, a rising of the skin. They would have to determine, is this actually leprosy? It may not have been leprosy. That's what they would pronounce it. No, you're clean. You set it aside 7 days. Look back on it. It didn't grow. It didn't spread no more in the skin. The hair started growing. It is okay.
Right. Praise God.
Praise God.
Verse 28. And if the bright spot stay in its place and spread not in the skin,
okay,
but if be somewhat dark, it is a rising of a burning, and the priest shall pronounce him clean, for it is an inflammation of the burning. If a man or woman have a plague upon the head or the beard, then the priest shall see the plague, and behold, if it be inside deeper than the skin, and there be in a yellow thin hair, then the priest shall pronounce him unclean. It is a dry scald, even a leprosy upon the head or beard.
Okay, so it's going through this diagnosis. The diagnosis is diagnosing each type of possibility.
Yes.
Of these various skin disorders or issues that could be leprosy. So they want to make sure that it's not leprosy. So you're saying that it won't spread, right?
Yeah.
Throughout the camp. Okay.
If you stop this deep, you stop there because we got a question online.
Okay.
I think our mother Schiffer was asking. She said, "It's interesting how contagious diseases aren't allowed in holy places. How does that relate to today's time?"
Well, I
think we're covering that.
Okay, we're covering that. Go ahead. Anybody want to? You want to respond?
I mean, the book cannot cover it. We have our physician which diagnose what's going on, then they take the corrective measure.
Well, but she's speaking about how does that relate to going into holy places today, right?
Correct.
Churches.
I mean, you have to keep yourself away. If you're contagious, you have to keep yourself away. I mean, you go to the doctor, they're going to diagnose you. And then you say, okay, you maybe want to keep away, or we quarantine, whatever it is.
Right.
You understand? So you have to say, something, just like even if you have like a running issue in the flesh.
Okay.
You understand? We need to keep away, from the holy thing of the Most High because you are unclean. Remember, if you're unclean, guess what? You want to stay away from, the holy things of the Most High.
That's right.
Because you don't want Yahweh to take you out completely.
Right. At least you go into defile his holy place.
Yeah.
And bring wrath upon yourself.
Yeah.
So
Well, that's interesting. That's a great question.
Yeah.
You have anything you want to expound on that?
I mean, we summarized it in what we were reading, but an elder had presented something about, the priests, that was their job.
Yeah.
The priests were supposed to protect the people. So if they saw that there was something contagious spreading, then the priest would go look on them. And then he didn't just cast them to the side. He'd come back in 7 days. Let me check you out. I'll make sure you're all right. Okay, it ain't spread. Just hold tight another 7 days. And then when I come back, if I see it ain't nothing spread, you're good. Right. Because we don't want it to spread among the people.
Right, because the people are holy unto Yahweh themselves.
Now, you allow that to spread among
people. Okay, come on now.
So, now the priest would be in a very peculiar position by him allowing this. I mean, you're sidestepping. Yahweh ordained this. The priests are not coming up with this on their own. Yahweh is instructing them.
That's right, man.
If you see this, keep them away.
Right.
I mean, you're so right. There's the priests have a great responsibility too. You understand? Even in this time frame,
that's right.
If the health board is saying something, hey, we're going to close our door. It doesn't matter of whatever business you do, to contain this disease. You need to go ahead and listen to what Yahweh has put in to take care, to prevent us from the whole country to spread, with this farmer, whatever it is.
Right.
Yeah, and so the priests, have to use the spirit that the Most High has given. If he's not, something is wrong with him. Yeah, because he needs to protect his people. Because I can remember a few years ago when this COVID thing came out, don't try to open your door. Follow instruction.
Correct.
You understand? Follow instruction, knowing that, look here, we don't want this thing to affect all the congregation. You understand? Stay home and we do certain things. Maybe that's what she is,
It's saying, I mean, and you should not, I look at it,
You said praise Yah.
yeah, praise Yah. Looking at COVID, well, that was something that a national, state, a national issue.
Yeah.
And you need to and you need to follow those ethics.
Guidelines,
Because Yahweh put those people in place to protect everybody.
Yes.
You follow me? Because they ordained, these governments are ordained of Yahweh.
That's right.
Go to Romans 13.
Go ahead, you can go there.
Oh, good, man.
Go on there.
Yeah.
Go to Romans 13, hold our place in Leviticus. And we're still in Leviticus chapter 13. And we're going to Romans 13 right now?
I mean, no, we
Oh, you okay?
time.
Okay.
I mean, but that's where I was going.
But-
The powers that be are ordained by Yahweh.
Right.
Okay. He didn't tell you to put their laws above his laws. The powers that be, who set them up? Yahweh set them up. See?
But read it. Go, who's going to go there and read it?
I'll read it.
Okay. But I think that's important. This first verses 1 through 4, I believe.
Romans chapter 13. And now we have brothers that try to take this out of context.
Of course.
I can imagine.
Of course.
Yeah.
See, I'm a priest. So you in subjection under me.
No.
We got all kinds of people.
Yeah.
We got characters.
Our people, man.
But Romans chapter 13, verse 1. Let every soul be subject unto the higher powers, for there is no power but of Elohim. The powers that be are ordained of Elohim. Whosoever therefore resisteth the power, resisteth the ordinance of Elohim. And they that resist shall receive to themselves damnation.
That's right.
For rulers are not a terror to good works, but to the evil.
Rulers.
So, yeah, this is what they tell you.
Yeah. You're not a ruler. You're a teacher. You're not ruling nobody. You follow me? You're supposed to be a teacher.
That's right.
A pastor. Right? But the government, the state of Georgia, and the elected officials of the state of Georgia, General Assembly, and the local governments, et cetera, they are the rulers. Right? And Israel ain't got it. Yeah. We don't have an ephod or a king or anything else.
No one to speak for us.
Nobody. No one.
Verse 3. For rulers are not a terror to good works, but to the evil. Wilt thou then not be afraid of the power? Do that which is good, and thou shalt have praise of the same. For he is the minister of Elohim to thee for good. But if thou do that which is evil, be afraid, for he beareth not the sword in vain.
The sword? Okay.
For he is the minister of Elohim, a revenger to execute wrath upon him that doeth evil.
Okay, you go out here and kill somebody, they arrest you,
See?
and the state you live in got the death sentence, and they have a trial, and you have been found guilty of your peers for murder, premeditated, capital murder, if they charge you for that.
See?
The death sentence is there, and that sentence come down, after all you're going to appeal it, but after all those appeals have been exercised, they're going to put you in a chair, maybe not the chair, they're going to put that needle in you and get you on the out of here. Because you did evil.
That's right. That's right.
Right?
Yahweh sets up kings and he takes down kings.
Exactly.
He wasn't talking about, this is his teachers, and he's telling them, we're the minister.
The minister.
Of Elohim, but if I'm the one that's picked, well, you better.
Listen or else.
What sword do you have to enforce that?
Sadly, our people have been, it's
Take
sad.
advantage of it, man.
It's really sad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, praise y'all for going there, brother, so we can kind of add some edification to that. Question about the sister raised, just to let you know why we went there, because now we lose the context why we went there. The question was presented about contagions and epidemics in the day as going into holy places. And thank you for Elder Uriah and Deacon Obi for responding to that question. Praise y'all. So let's go ahead over Deacon Obadiah. I think we're on verse 32.
31.
31?
Okay.
No, you finished at 31.
Okay.
But we're on verse 30. Wherever you want to start at. But
let me see. I thought it was 29, but I'll start at 30.
No, he made it down to 30.
Yeah,
he made it 30.
Verse 31.
It might be 31. Yes.
Okay. And if the priests look on the, we're at Leviticus chapter 13, verse 31. And if the priests look on the plague of the skull, and behold, it be not in sight deeper than the skin, and that there is no black hair in it, then the priest shall shut him up that has the plague of the skull 7 days. And in the 7th day the priest shall look on the plague, and behold, if the skull spread not, and there be in it no yellow hair, and the skull be not in sight deeper than the skin, he shall be shaven. But the skull shall he not shave. And the priest shall shut him that has the skull 7 days more. And in the 7th day the priest shall look on the skull, and behold, if the skull be not spread in the skin, nor be in the sight deeper than the skin, then the priest shall pronounce him clean. And he shall wash his clothes and be clean. But if the skull spread much in the skin after his cleansing, then the priest shall look on him, and behold, if the skull be spread in the skin, the priest shall not seek for yellow hair, he is unclean. But if the skull be in his sight at a stain, and that there is black hair grown up therein, the skull is healed, he is clean, and the priest shall pronounce him clean. If a man also or a woman have in the skin of their flesh bright spots, even white bright spots, then the priest shall look, and behold, if the bright spots in the skin of their flesh be darkish white, it is a freckled spot that groweth in the skin, he is clean. And the man whose hair is fallen off his head, he is bald, yet is he clean. And he that has his hair fallen off from the part of his head toward his face, he is forehead bald, yet he is clean. And if there be in the bald head or a bald forehead a white reddish sore, it is a leprosy sprung up in his bald head or his bald forehead.
Yeah, it has been said this law covers you from head to foot.
That's right.
And we're talking from the top of your head now,
That's right.
dealing with the law of leprosy, these issues,
Crazy.
a contagion of leprosy.
Yes, sir. Verse 43. Then the priest shall look upon it, and behold, if the rising of the sore be white reddish in his bald head, or in his bald forehead, as the leprosy appeareth in the skin of the flesh, he is a leprous man. He is unclean.
Okay.
The priest shall pronounce him utterly unclean. His plague is in his head. And the leper in whom the plague is, his clothes shall be rent, and his head bare, and he shall put a covering upon his upper lip, and shall cry, unclean, unclean.
Okay, let's expound on that now. Let's read that again about when he covered his head.
Verse 45. And the leper in whom the plague is, his clothes shall be rent, and his head bare, and he shall put a covering upon his upper lip, and shall cry, unclean, unclean.
Giving the people warning
Right.
if he's among the people, right?
That's right.
Unclean. I'm unclean. I'm
Stay away.
unclean.
Stay away.
I'm unclean.
That's right.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
You might find that kind of odd today, but Yahweh has blessed us and allowed science and healthcare and medicine to advance.
Yeah.
That we're not plagued by these things on a regular basis.
That's
We
right.
have other diseases and pestilences that have attacked us.
Mm-hmm.
Different things now that we have the antibiotics and different treatment modalities to address those issues.
Right.
So we're not. So thank Yahweh, we don't have to go outside saying unclean, unclean, right? But we still got to exercise discernment, like the question raised. If you know you have something that's contagious or sick, stay your butt home. Don't come to church. Don't come around people. Don't come around because it's communicable.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Deacon. I'm sorry.
No. You're right. I mean, why would you want to spread something on people? That's if you know. I mean,
I'm staying home, man. I'm sorry. I just got to stay home.
If it got me all hurt in my body, like, I wouldn't want you to have that.
Praise God. Thank you.
Just without knowing the law. Like, that's selfish.
Yeah.
Verse 46. All the days wherein the plague shall be, in him he shall be defiled. He is unclean. He shall dwell alone with the outside of the camp.
Okay, outside the
His
camp.
habitation be.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Verse 47. The garment also that the plague of leprosy is in, whether it be woolen garment or a linen garment, whether it be in the warp or woof of linen or of woolen, whether in a skin or in anything made of skin, and if the plague be greenish or reddish in the garment or in the skin, either in the warp or in the woof or in anything of skin, it is a plague of leprosy, and shall be showed unto the priest. And the priest shall look upon the plague and shut up it that has the plague 7 days.
Then Yahshua told him, go show yourself to the priest.
Mm.
Oh, I healed you, because but go show yourself to the priest. Because you're known to have this, right?
And now this is even going deeper. This is on a garment.
It's a garment, right?
If the garment begins to turn green or reddish in color, they would quarantine the garment.
See,
Yeah.
come on,
You
same
have
thing
to.
there. You got to take that stuff off you.
See?
Right.
Yeah, and we'll read further down. We get into chapter 14. It talks about it. If the house finds it, we got to take them stones down, grind them up, and dump them somewhere in an unclean place outside the camp.
Right.
That's
Detail.
right.
Isn't that detail, brothers?
Oh man, 4 details, John.
Crazy.
But this is that thing is spread like wildfire.
That's right. That's right. Verse 51. And he shall look on the plague on the 7th day, and if the plague be spread in the garment, either in the warp, or in the woof, or in a skin, or in a work, or in any work rather that is made of skin, the plague is a fretting leprosy. It is unclean. He shall therefore burn that garment, whether warp or woof, in woolen or in linen, or anything of skin, wherein the plague is. For it is a fretting leprosy, it shall be burnt in the fire.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
And if the priest shall look, and behold, the plague be not spread in the garment, either in the warp, or in the woof, or in anything of skin, then the priest shall command that they wash the thing wherein the plague is, and he shall shut it up 7 days more.
Okay.
And the priest shall look on the plague after that it is washed, and behold, if the plague have not changed its color, and the plague be not spread, it is unclean. Thou shalt burn it in the fire. It is fret inward, whether it be bare, within, or without.
It just warped itself into the garment itself, the
Right,
threads.
fiber.
Yeah, fibers.
That's right.
Yeah.
It's part of it now.
That's right. And if the priest look, and behold, the plague be somewhat dark after the washing of it, then he shall rend it out of the garment, or out of the skin, or out of the warp, or out of the woof. And if it appear still in the garment, either in the warp, or in the woof, or in anything of skin, it is a spreading plague. Thou shalt burn that wherein the plague is with fire. And the garment, either warp, or woof, or whatsoever thing of skin it be, which thou shalt wash, if the plague be departed from them, then it shall be washed the second time, and shall be clean. This is the law of the plague of leprosy in a garment of woolen or linen, either in the warp or woof, or anything of skins, to pronounce it clean or to pronounce it unclean.
See, that's the law, right? They summarize it, all that, those things. And now, before I think I want to show us a different aspect of leprosy before this will be our last chapter. I think we can, what do we got? What time we at?
We're almost at 3.
We're at 3? Oh, man. It's 2:50, huh?
2 hours. We'll go on to the leprosy.
Yeah, let me see. I wanted
So you're going to finish this?
No, I want to just not finish chapter 14. I wanted to go somewhere else.
No, finish chapter 13.
Yeah, we just did.
No.
Oh, we just did.
Yeah.
Yeah, we just did.
Yeah,
But I wanted to give an example of just to look at this thing. Let's go to 2 Kings chapter 5. And this is our last chapter. This is what we're going to read last. Because I think this is going to talk about showing faith and also showing covetousness. But it's surrounding a person with leprosy.
Correct.
And this is going to be a smooth read. And after that, we're going to just end the class. We went a little longer than anticipated, but I did want to cover this.
Okay, we're going to just, y'all will be able to touch it back.
Next week too. Yeah. So we can just touch it. And this is dealing with the healing of Naaman, the Syrian soldier, general. And let's talk about it. Elder Uriah, we're in the book of 2 Kings, I believe, chapter 5, verse 1.
Okay. 2 Kings chapter 5, verse 1. Now Naaman, captain of the host of the king of Syria, was a great man with his master and honorable because by him Yahweh had given deliverance unto Syria. He was also a mighty man in valor, but he was a leper.
He was a leper. Okay.
Verse 2. And the Syrians had gone out by companies and had brought away captive out of the land of Israel a little maid, and she waited on Naaman's wife.
They captured an Israelite girl, young girl.
Verse 3. And she said unto her mistress, Would Elohim Adonai were with the prophet.
Master. I would say master.
Okay. And let me start verse 3 over. And she said unto her mistress, Would Elohim, my master, were with the prophet that is in Samaria, for he would recover him of his leprosy.
Yeah, that prophet is Elisha, right? How do you pronounce it? It's Elisha or Elisha? Elisha. Okay.
Verse 4. And one went in and told his master, saying, Thus and thus said the maid that is of the land of Israel. And the king of Syria said, Go, and I will send a letter unto the king of Israel. And he departed and took with him 10 talents of silver and 6,000 pieces of gold and 10 changes of raiment.
A lot of money.
Yep. Oh, he's rich. And he brought the letter to the king of Israel, saying, Now, when this letter is come unto thee, behold, I have therewith sent Naaman, my servant, to thee, that thou mayest recover him of his leprosy.
So the king of Syria sent a letter to the king of Israel, the northern kingdom, introducing him about his servant Naaman, right?
Yeah.
And he had this money with him to bring to the king, right? To bring, right?
That's right.
So that's all king roll.
That's how you do it.
Yeah, that's how you do it.
Yeah. So let's see how the king of Israel responds to this, because he may see this as a setup. What's going on here? Let's go, brother.
Verse 7. And it came to pass, when the king of Israel had read the letter, that he rent his clothes and said, Am I Elohim, am I God, to kill and to make alive, that this man does send unto me to recover a man of his leprosy? Wherefore consider, I pray you, and see how he seeth a quarrel against me.
Yeah, you think he got to set him up a pretext. It's a nations now.
You don't even have a clue.
You know what's going on. Yahweh's working the thing. You think somebody's coming after you, but something else is going on.
And what's interesting is that this whole thing dispersed between the women.
The women.
See,
that's right.
The maid that looks under his wife, she's in captivity. She was like, my master, if he went to the prophet would heal him.
That's right.
This is her fate.
That's right. That's
so,
her fate.
So she tells him, well, you might need to, it's the servant. That's the women that this conversation came up among. It's pretty interesting.
Good point. No, very good. Thank you for bringing that up. We act like the women are not a part of this narrative.
Like she wants to see her husband not sick. Sick with leprosy.
Come on now.
Yeah.
Come on,
and the king respect him. The king of Syria respect. He knows Naaman was a great warrior, great general, great tactician. Let me go and help this brother get better. Okay, so the king is like, put it down. Now let's see what goes on in verse 8.
Verse 8. We're in the book of 2 Kings chapter 5, verse 8. And it was so, when Elisha, the man of Elohim, had heard that the king of Israel had rent his clothes, that he sent to the king, saying, Wherefore hast thou rent thy clothes? let him come now to me, and he shall know that there is a prophet in Israel.
That's right.
Praise
a prophet of Yahweh in Israel.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't say that explicitly. He said, let me see there's a prophet of Yahweh in Israel.
Mm-hmm.
Send him to me.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Let's go on. Let's finish up strong, Elder.
Verse 9. So Naaman came with his horses and with his chariot, and stood at the door of the house of Elisha. And Elisha sent a messenger unto him, saying, Go and wash. You know what, man?
Did you look drink?
No, man, no. I'm fine,
All right,
man. I'm just, you know, sometimes you're reading this story over and over, man.
Praise God.
I mean, you know, like you're a part. You're in the story too.
Hallelujah. Praise God, man.
You know, Elisha didn't even allow him to come in unto him.
Just tell me.
You know, let me read it, man.
Right, man. Praise God for that.
Yeah,
I know what that is. That's what this
verse
word
10.
is. The Spirit.
Yeah, verse 10. And Elisha sent a messenger unto him, saying, Go and wash in Jordan 7 times, and thy flesh shall come again to thee, and thou shalt be clean. But Naaman was wroth, man, he was angry, and went away and said, Behold, I thought ye will surely come out to me, and stand and call on the name of Yahweh, his Elohim, and strike his hand over the place and recover the leper.
So he not only want a big time. He want the prophet to do a show.
Right.
Yeah.
Do a show like they do in these churches and stuff.
Just like these camps all over.
Whoa, lay hands on you. Something like, or whatever you do.
I don't even know, man.
He starts spitting and all that stuff. You know, so he want a show. He mad. You know, and that's that hubris, arrogance.
Yeah.
That's the hubris on him. I'm somebody. I'm a big man. I'm the captain of the king of Syria's host. I control the whole army. And you're not even gonna come out and greet me and go through the ceremony? Okay, all right.
Verse 12. Are not Abana and Pharpar rivers of Damascus better than all the waters of Israel? May I not wash in them and be clean? So he turned and went away in a rage.
And that's how we are sometimes as a people, period, human beings. We want God to do the way we want to do it.
Yeah.
No matter what it may be. Finances, healing, a husband, a wife. Well, I don't want her. I don't want him. Well, this is the man that's right for you. Well, I want this kind of guy. Well, this is the man that loves you. This is the man that's going to protect you and honor you. But he ain't 6'1". He ain't rich. She's not a model. I want her to be a model. Well, what the model want to do with you anyway?
That's right.
She's somewhere else. See, you can't even receive a blessing. And you may have a good wife, but you don't know how to even deal with her.
That's right.
Be thankful. But you're arrogant. You're huffed up. You can't even accept the blessing that Yahweh's giving you.
But even
you want it your way.
Even in his arrogance, he's still humble.
Yeah, down the line.
We're gonna see.
But if you're going to see how it's going to happen, it didn't come from him.
No,
it's the spirit on somebody else going to speak to him.
That's right.
And say something,
That's
hey, man.
right.
And let's go ahead. And we're going to see it. And that's why we got. But see, that's a good point.
Because he received it.
But
had he not received it, then he would stay in his arrogance.
But see, that's how we have to be. That's how we got to catch ourselves. Somebody may come to you and kind of pull your tail. Hey, ... Man, I don't want to hear that.
You don't hear it.
Okay, well, go ahead then. I'm not going to sit there and beg grown men or grown women to do this or that. The Spirit told me to tell you something. I felt the unction to say something.
That's right.
But if you don't receive it, then
You just don't receive it.
keep on trucking, baby.
Keep on moving.
And keep it moving. But I've done my part as the Spirit. But see now, let's keep on. This thing is written so beautiful. This thing is written so beautiful. Keep on reading it, but we're going
Verse 13. And his servants came near and spake unto him and said, My father, if the prophet had bid thee to do some great things, would thou not have done it? How much rather then when he said to thee, Wash and be clean?
Okay.
Then went he down and dipped himself 7 times in Jordan, according to the saying of the man of God. And his flesh came again like unto the flesh of a little child, and he was clean.
See there? Sometimes people can come, I don't care who you are, your servants, the people you think under you, they can come to you try to give you good advice. Right? That's throughout the scripture.
It's the servants that came to him. When you read
That's right, they came to him. Right.
In verse 4, it says, one went in and told his master, saying, he overheard the conversation between the maid and the wife.
Of course.
And he brought it to the king. Hey.
When he started out. Okay,
Yeah,
go ahead.
He brought it, he presented it to him.
Right.
You know, it was obviously something of merit to bring to the king.
Correct.
He's not snitching on him. No. You need to hear this, king. You know, and now he's telling him again.
Right.
Not my father.
Your servant.
You see, it's a thing about Israel on a whole. They know that they can rely on Yahweh to help them in their time of needs. So she have heard, or read the stories, about our forefathers. Yahweh was our savior from even coming out of the out of captivity, out of Egypt.
And these are the servants of his servants. Now, we only all not Israelite. We know one's an Israelite, the girl. But these servants, they heard these things. Yeah. And they had common sense, discernment. They say, well, they try to beseech them, my father. Right. My father. If the prophet had bid you, they came home and he had to. The next thing we see,
you have to show respect.
You got to show respect to the rulers. And the next thing we see in verse 14, he dipping himself in the water. He don't went on and say, yeah, he received it.
A ruler, how can you rule if you don't listen to your subjects? His servant, he got a servant. The servant coming and telling him something. Well, you sitting on the throne.
Correct.
So I'm out here in the field, King. I'm trying to let you know what's going on. You're not out here in the field.
That's right. That's right.
That's why I got you out here.
You have to have good officers around you, man.
Exactly.
If not, you're a good servant.
You'll fall right off the cliff. You'll got caught up in a coup.
That's right.
And you lost the kingdom. You lost the kingdom. What happened?
Right.
Well, hey, man, this been going on for quite a while.
Right.
It had to go down.
Verse 15. And he returned to the man of God, he and all his company, and came and stood before him, and he said, Behold, now I know that there is no God in all the earth but in Israel.
Praise God. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Praise.
Now therefore I pray thee, take a blessing of thy servant.
See how that is? That's what it was. They sent him over here to show that there is a prophet in Israel, a prophet of Yahweh. Amen. And he didn't have to do anything. Yahweh gonna get the glory. Exactly. Just tell him to go dip himself in. I'm not gonna come out there. Yahweh gonna get all the glory. That's right. You didn't even see me.
Praise Yahweh, man.
That's why it just came to me. You don't have to see me.
Right. See, but
what you see me for?
The king wanted that pomp and that circumstance. Let me see lay your hands on me and do something. Yeah. Do this miracle.
They're the one to show.
Create a scene.
Scene.
Right.
Yeah. That's right. Big time.
Verse 16. But he said, As Yahweh liveth, before whom I stand, I will receive none. And he urged him to take it, but he refused. And Naaman said, Shall there not then, I pray thee, be given to thy servant 2 mules, burden of earth? For thy servant will henceforth offer neither burnt offering nor sacrifice unto other gods, but unto Yahweh.
He don't got a convert. He don't got this man believing, hey, this is the God who worship.
That's right.
The God of these Israelites.
That's right.
So now, watch how, see this brother's heart. See how Yahweh dealt with him?
That's right.
He humble, like we said earlier. Now he's at a whole other place.
That's right.
Verse 18. In this thing Yahweh pardon thy servant, that when my master goeth into the house of Rimmon,
his master's the king of Syria,
to worship there, and he leaneth on my hand, and I bow myself in the house of Rimmon. When I bow down myself in the house of Rimmon, Yahweh pardon thy servant in this thing.
So he's the God of the Syrians of Rimmon.
Yeah.
Y'all can look that up.
Yeah.
That's right.
So he's asking for, hey, I got to do, what do we say about the Sabbath? Sometimes you got to do what you got to, that's your job. This is where I'm at. Will Yahweh pardon me? He's talking to his prophet.
That's right.
Will Yahweh hold, I'm going to sacrifice only to Yahweh. That's the only God I believe.
That's right.
But I serve my king.
He required me to kneel down. I'm not honoring the God.
I'm not honoring the God.
I'm trying to just do my job.
Yeah. So when you go by, so see, a lot of things we can resolve right here. You're not worshiping the Santa Claus. If you drop by there and say, hey, how y'all doing? I just want to say hello, and you might just leave.
Yeah, keep it moving.
You just saying hello. But this is so different, though. This is much different. That's not a great analogy. But continue. What does the prophet say to him? What did Elisha say to him?
And he said unto him, Go in peace. So he departed from him a little way.
All right. Now we're going to transition to what we talked about. We're seeing this issue of the leprosy. We're seeing the issue of faith, of humility, humility, and some faith.
That's right.
That brother did in Naaman, right? Before Yahweh's prophet.
That's right.
But I also mentioned we're going to see some issues about greed. And we're going to see some things that Yahweh is not this is not a prophet for hire. Now let's see who's around you checking this whole thing out.
Covetousness.
Yeah. Now let's see. Continue. Let's cover this now.
Yeah, verse 20. But Gehazi, the servant of Elisha, the man of God, said, Behold, my master had spared Naaman the Syrian, and not receiving at his hands that which he brought. But as Yahweh liveth, I will run after him and take somewhat of him.
I'm going to get paid some kind of way.
Of course.
Now Yahweh has been glorified in the eyes of these heathens. And a wonderful thing has been done. Right?
Silver and gold.
You want some silver and gold?
Of course.
He said, Elisha.
I want to know what riches is all about.
Elisha,
go ahead.
Elisha spared. Shoot, man, he should have got paid. Let's go ahead. Go ahead, D.
Verse 21. So Gehazi followed after Naaman, and when Naaman saw him running after him, he lighted down from the chariot to meet him, and said, Is all well? And he said, All is well, my master had sent me, saying, Behold, even now there be come to me from Mount Ephraim 2 young men of the sons of the prophets. Give them, I pray thee, a talent of silver and 2 changes of raiment.
Okay, you're coveting, and now you're lying on Yahweh.
Right.
Oh, man.
Bold face.
23. And Naaman said, Be content, take 2 talents. And he urged him, and bound 2 talents of silver in 2 bags, with 2 changes of garments, and laid them upon 2 of his servants, and they bare them before him.
Now you making this man look like Yahweh is charging him for something. Yahweh gave him the gold. What Yahweh need his silver and garments for? Right?
They're all Yahweh in the first place.
This was to glorify Yahweh.
Yeah.
This Yahweh is being sanctified in this situation. Correct?
That's right.
All right.
Verse 24. And when he came to the tower, he took them from their hand and bestowed them in the house. And he let the men go, and they departed.
Here you go now.
But he went in and stood before his master. And Elisha said unto him, Whence comest thou, Gehazi? And he said, Thy servant went no whither.
That's a rhetorical question. It's like Yahweh asked Adam and Eve.
Yeah.
Yahweh already showed the prophet. He knew exactly what he was doing.
Well, you know what? Gehazi should have known better.
Well,
he's a prophet.
Yeah.
He gave him a chance.
He gave him a chance. Yeah, I mean, that's what I did. You got a shot. I don't know, but you know what's in it.
Verse 26.
Yep.
And he said unto him, When not mine heart with thee, when the man turn again from his chariot to meet thee, it is a time to receive money.
Is it a time?
Is it a time to receive money, and to receive garments, and olive yards, and vineyards, and sheep, and oxen, and men servants, and maid servants?
It's a question. So we got to look at things when we're doing the work of Yahweh in this vineyard.
That's
a question. You may think, well, I'm not getting this and these things I want.
I'm not getting these things that, your flesh, lust, baby flesh, lusted after.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
So you got to keep that in check and say, well, is it a time for this right now for you?
Yeah.
It may not be the time that Yahweh wants you to do this thing.
That's right.
He wants you to serve him. He wants you to be a minister of his gospel. He wants you to do his works.
That's right.
Put his works first.
That's so important.
Do those things first.
Yeah.
Right? And he got that. He got you. He got you. You know when it's time.
When the time comes.
He'll promote you, right?
That's right.
He'll profit you. He gives you the strength to get well. So that's a That's a powerful question that Elisha put on him.
Yeah.
Is it you put these things?
Is it time for these
Is
things?
it time for these things? This was the time for Yahweh to be sanctified.
See,
And Yahweh is getting the glory.
that's right.
Not me, not you, not for me getting a reward.
You know, Ellen, and even to take a little bit further, I mean, you've been like working for all the days of your life, but man, you can show like $1 million,
Right.
you know, but it is not time for you to receive that. Yahweh has given you, you know, a job to do.
Exactly, bro.
Do what, you know, you were commanded to do right now.
Do what you command to do right now.
Yeah, and I'll pay you when the time comes.
Right. Instead of you sitting there, and you can see what kind of spirit Gehazi had on him. You sitting there watching your master, the prophet, and Yahweh do a miracle. You saw a miracle. This man had leprosy.
That's right.
And your mind is on the flesh at that point. See, and that look at what happened in the time of Christ, Yeshua. With everybody sinning, the Pharisees, the priests, etc. All these miracles work. They just looking right past that.
That's right.
They
My
just
father
want,
did the same thing coming out the wilderness.
come on, they can't the same thing. So this is the spirit on this brother. But let's see after that question. Wrap it on up, Uriah. What happened?
Last verse, 27. The leprosy therefore of Naaman shall cleave unto thee, and unto thy seed forever. And he went out from the present, from his presence, a leper as white as snow.
Now you don't got with the other brother. Now you got it.
That's right.
And it's not going to leave you.
That's right.
Isn't that crazy? He said, it's not going to leave. It's going to cleave to your seed forever. Man. Well, this is what we wanted to show as we were talking about the in Leviticus 12. We showed some things about the law of the ordinances dealing with leprosy, right? And so we went to Luke. We went into the gospel, Matthew 8. Is that 8? And we saw where Yeshua healed a leper,
That's
right? And told him not to say anything, but go show yourself to the priest.
That's right.
And that. Now we see another example of in the Old Testament here in the law where Yahweh healed this powerful man. But it shows you no matter how sometimes you may have an affliction.
That's right.
Right? No matter how high you get. You might need to call on somebody. Yahweh going to take care of that. So with that, brothers, I'm going to just end the class. I know we went longer than, I'm so sorry, we went a little longer than normal, brothers. I'm sorry, but I wanted to end that on the class on something showing that mercy of Yahweh, even with that leprosy that Yahweh could heal. We wanted to show y'all that and go from there because we had these things to discuss, but I went ahead and pushed the time. So I thank you, Elder Uriah, for not giving me the look, and Elder Deacon Obadiah for not pulling the cord right now. So with that, we're going to end today's Sabbath service officially as we do normally today. We're going to end that discussion right now. The class was entitled Leviticus, the Works of the Law, Part 4. And as it is our custom, before we tune out, I'm going to allow the brothers to have anything they want to say about this class or anything else they want to share with you all.
Not much, man, Ella, because the word is pretty much kind of straightforward. But this is to show the love that Yahweh has for us. That He gave us a law from head to toe.
Yes.
To take care of our folks. All we got to do, read it and do it.
Read it and do it. Praise God.
That's the bottom line. I'm doing this. So if you observe all these things and obey them and walk in it, you will be righteous to the Most High. Yeah, that's all I can say. I know we have a lot of time, so I'm not going to dwell too much.
Thank you, bro. I mean, that's fine.
That's pretty much it. And these law, apply even in today's world. Apply it. Whether Yahweh has put our folks in captivity in different places, scattered us to the four corners of the earth. But at the same time, He has given us doctors to oversee us, to take care of us, make recommendations.
That's right now.
Yeah. by the law.
Right.
You know, so all we have to do, just observe the law that Yahweh is asking us to do. You know, and it's not done away with, as some people take it to be. That's all.
Praise y'all, my brother. Deacon Obadiah?
No, hit it on the head there. I mean, Yahweh covers us from head to toe. The law covers us from head to toe. So, you know, Yahweh's so detailed in his law. You don't have to sidestep or freestyle.
That's right.
And the law points to Yeshua.
That's right.
Always states. So, Yeshua honored the law and he magnified the law, rather.
Right.
He honored it.
Yes, sir.
So everything points back again to Yeshua. So that's all. Just continue to tune in, and we pray that you receive edification and that Yahweh be glorified, that you gain understanding in why we're covering these things, because it's so important to see the law covers us from head to toe, and the law is still here. Like I
That's
say,
right.
Go away, and some people want to tell folks and teach contrary to what's written in the book.
That's right.
So, yeah, continue to tune in. Praise Yahweh for Yahweh allowing us to have the platform.
Thank you. Praise y'all for that. Praise y'all for that.
Humbled and honored
Praise y'all.
to be able to partake.
Praise y'all. You're so right, Deacon. And, you know, with that, I'm not going to say any further, but just, hey, Deacon Obadiah, praise y'all for you. Elder Uriah, praise y'all for you.
Shalom, man.
Yes, man.
And,
Shalom. Praise be to Yahweh,
praise
man.
y'all. And we just thank everybody for joining us today to this Sabbath class discussion and keeping Yahweh's holy day of the Sabbath. And we thank you. So we want to just say at this point, Shabbat Shalom to everyone, and keep the day holy. And we pray that Yahweh willing, we can come together again on the next Sabbath and continue to worship our Elohim in spirit and in truth. And with that, again,